Built for NASCAR racing back in 1950. There have been 75 races here. Only 30 men have visited this hallowed ground, Victory Lane, here at Darlington. Today, Dale Earnhardt could tie a record for consecutive wins at a superspeedway if he can pull his black number 3 into Victory Lane here in about 4 hours' time. Now to begin the 42nd season of racing here at Darlington, let's go down to the starting line for that famous command.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
"40 cars fire to life as the 5th Winston Cup race of the year is about to begin. This new season has brought new pit rules and a new strategy for teams racing on this historic facility. With more on that, one of our 2 pit reporters today, Dr. Jerry Punch.
You're absolutely right, Bob. You know, the face of this famous old lady in black hasn't changed much over the years. Still the infamous turn 4 with that concrete wall that can reach out and bite you. But the complexion of how you run a 500-mile race has changed drastically in 1991 with the new pit rules. Kenny Schrader's conservatism at Rockingham in Atlanta allowed him to finish second and first purely on efficiency, fuel mileage. Thus, some crew chiefs today think if they can run 74 laps, that's 101 miles a year, they can make this 500-mile race on only 4 stops. There are other crew chiefs in the garage area who think that strategy is totally ludicrous because tire wear will be a major factor. Not these tires, hopefully, although this track is so tough, these tires could come into play, but tire wear on the race cars. So the pit rules having a major impact on 500-mile race strategy. For more on what those rules actually are this week, let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, the new pit road rules for 1991 have undergone another change this week. No longer will the cars be designated odd or even by virtue of its starting position. You can change tires following a caution immediately after you take the green flag at the start-finish line. But you cannot change tires under caution unnecessarily. That means if you have a flat and you do come in to change the tires, you'll have to come in within 4 laps after the race goes back to green and change those tires once again. And Ned and Benny, you both raced at this old racetrack. How's that going to affect the strategy today?
John, when Ned and I raced, the strategy was when your car started slipping and sliding, come in, get some new tires. Now the guys are trying to force the issue and stay out there 75 laps on a tank of fuel. Can they run that far here, Darlington?
I don't think they can, Benny. It's going to be awfully tough. At Atlanta, a 1.5-mile track, only a few of them was able to stretch it that far. This is a shorter track. They run a lower gear ratio, which makes the car use more fuel.
And, you know, I don't know how to play chess, but when I talk to the crew members down in the garage, chess game, we're going to wait for this guy to make a move. We're going to counter with our move. But somebody's going to make that first move.
Well, they do, and I think some of them will make a move pretty early. They're going to want to get those tires off of those cars as quickly as they can because the drivers are going to be having a tough time out there, and some of them might even stop after 50 laps. That makes them make more pit stops during the race, but the ideal thing, I think, would be run 61 laps. That way you can do it on 5 pit stops. I think some of them will be doing that. Now, take Junior Johnson. Both of his cars on the front row here for the TranSouth 500 for the first time since 1984 when Darrell Waltrip and Neil Bonnet were on the front row at North Wilkesboro. Now, you don't think Junior would use one of those cars for one kind of strategy and the other one for another kind?
Believe me, he will do whatever it takes to win, and that might be a good strategy.
The field begins to move away for a couple of warm-up laps before we get the green flag for 367 laps of competition, 500 miles in the TranSouth 500. Let's take a look now at how they'll line up for today's race. The die-hard starting grid has Jeff Bodine from Chemung, New York on the pole, his second consecutive at this race, alongside his teammate for Junior Johnson, Sterling Marlin, in car number 22. The second row, Daytona 500 winner Ernie Irvan, and alongside him the most recent winner in Winston Cup at Atlanta, Ken Schrader. Harry Gant, who's won this race twice, will start 5th. Alan Kowicki will start alongside in the 6th position. Starting 7th, Dale Earnhardt, going for win number 4 in a row. Alongside in the 4th row, Brett Bodine from Chemung, New York, number 26. It's Darrell Waltrip on the inside of the 5th row, and his brother Michael Waltrip alongside outside of the 5th row. Davey Allison will start in 11th position in car number 28, the Haviland Ford, and Mark Martin will start alongside in car number 6, the Folgers Coffee Ford. Now we take a look at the rest of the starting lineup. Ricky Rudd, who is second in the point standing, starts in the inside of row number 7. And there's some pretty good competitive drivers that will be starting in the middle part and the back of the field. As you see the field filing down the backstretch, the drivers beginning to warm up their tires and get set for the track too tough to tame.
Talk about warming up the tires, Bob. Once they get under green flag conditions, they warm up in a hurry. Maybe I'll elaborate just a bit further on the tire wear. It's not that Goodyear doesn't have good tires here, but this track is so tough on tires that it wears them and heats them up. And when they heat up, they slow down a lot. That's why they want to get those tires off and get new ones on as quickly as possible.
Let's take a look at the track they'll be racing on. It's 1.366 miles in length. The pole speed was 161.9, not quite a record. The pole time was 30.37 seconds. We'll go 367 laps. The field is separated by only 11.9 miles per hour. Now, you'll notice that there are two pit roads, one on the front stretch, one on the back stretch here at Darlington. And although it looks like a perfectly shaped oval, it is not. It is an egg-shaped oval. The banking different in turns 1 and 2. The banking is at 25 degrees. And you go down to turns number 3 and 4, and the banking is at 23 degrees. So you really can't set up a car to be competitive all the way around the racetrack. You have to make some adjustments someplace.
As we're looking at the in-car camera, this is turns 1 and 2. This is the small end of the egg. Going down to 3 and 4, that's the large end of the egg.
We're in Dale Jarrett's car. One of the bumper cams on his. Mark Martin, as you can see, is just ahead of him in the Folgers Ford, and now we go inside that car. Mark will carry one of the in-car cameras for us this afternoon. And there is Lake Speed, who has taken over driving on the number 66 car as he carries the Phillips 66 in-car camera for us. Lake Speed in this car that's owned by Cale Yarborough. Well, the field is up between turns number 3 and 4, getting set to come down. A huge crowd on hand, and we are absolutely delighted you're with us, and we're set for another season of Winston Cup racing here on ESPN. Jumped into the lead from outside row number 1. The pole sitter, Jeff Bodine, is running a few car lengths behind in second. Battle for third position. Ernie Irvin looking to the inside of Ken Schrader as they run down the backstretch. Irvin with the inside position. Let's see what happens as they go into the third turn. Irvin backs off. Schrader maintains third.
Well, here comes Irvin back on the inside as Schrader slips up a little bit. That's a good place to pass on this racetrack now. It didn't used to be that way.
And now Alan Kulwicki looks to the inside of Ken Schrader as they head into turn number 1. Again, they'll file into single file formation, and Alan Kulwicki does pick up the spot. Brett Bodine now right behind Ken Schrader and Michael Waltrip in the bright yellow Pennzoil car. Running alongside Brett Bodine, and Waltrip picks up the spot.
When these cars get positioned on the other cars, when they get on the inside of them going down the straightaways, the fellow on the outside just simply has to back off and let the other car go in, especially this early in the race. There's only one group getting in these corners at this stage of the race.
Inside the Mark Martin car, the Channel Lock race cam with the pictures. That's Harry Gant just ahead. Dale Earnhardt just ahead of Harry Gant as Mark sets the car in turn number 3, now turn number 4, headed for the front stretch.
Mark's in 10th spot. Harry Gant started 5th. He's dropped back to 9th spot. Mark has picked up 2 spots from his 12th spot.
As you can see well up front, Sterling Marlin still holds the lead here in the TranSouth 500. And now we're looking back on Darrell Waltrip. Davey Allison behind Darrell. They move up to about 165 miles an hour before going into turn number 3.
And there again, split going in the corner and all kinds of cars going by.
A little surprising. Harry Gant drives this racetrack as well as anyone, and everybody thought he was going to be one of the cars to beat. And he might be as time goes on. Maybe the car is not quite right for him at this point. Here's Ernie Irvin now. It's caught Jeff Bodine.
This is second and third. Jeff Bodine, car number 11, the Budweiser-sponsored machine, and Ernie Irvin in the Kodak Film Chevy running in third spot. Right behind them is Alan Kulwicki. Alan Kulwicki in the 7 car without major sponsorship, although he's still carrying Hooters on the car.
He talked like that Hooters would be on the car for the next 2 or 3 races, Bob, if he did not find someone to come in for the rest of the year.
And, of course, a chain of restaurants, especially in the southeastern portion of the United States. Look at the advantage that Sterling Marlin has on Bodine and Ernie Irvin and Alan Kulwicki.
Bodine's found a better groove or a different groove because Ernie was pushing him a moment ago. He put 3 or 4 car lengths on the Irvin car.
Let's go to Jerry Punch with a report on the car that's currently leading this race, driven by Sterling Marlin.
It has been a tough morning for the Maxwell House crew. In fact, Sterling's car just barely got to the starting grid before gentleman's start was given a little bit ago. They came to the racetrack and found that the harmonic balancer had slipped on the crankshaft. They had to change the engine about an hour and a half ago. The new engine they put in, the sump pump wouldn't work. They had to struggle to get a new sump pump put on that engine and barely get the car to the starting line. And just a few minutes ago, when they rolled the car off, they were hoping maybe all their problems were gone. Nuh-uh. Sterling just radioed in to Mike Meadham and said, hey, we've only got 2 pounds of fuel pressure. They're hoping here in the Maxwell House pits that it's possibly a gauge malfunction. That's all it is, but what a day so far for Sterling Marlin.
Marlin, of course, has never visited Victory Lane in Winston Cup competition. Hopes to do so this afternoon about 4 o'clock Eastern Time.
Benny, it would be tough to run that long with only 2 pounds of fuel pressure, so it does sound like it might be a gauge problem.
It better be a gauge because he's going to burn a piston pretty soon. There's no way they can push enough fuel into the car. The requirement, the fuel that's required on 2 pounds of pressure.
Sterling Marlin in the Maxwell House Coffee Ford is leading the TranSouth 500 here with 9 laps out of 367 complete. We're glad you could join us here from Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina. Our Speedworld coverage is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Suzuki, your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. Here are the top 10 after 10 laps at the TranSouth 500 from Darlington. We'll be back with more of our live coverage after this.
The same battery that has started 9 out of 10 NASCAR winners since 1977. Also starts millions of cars all over America every day. Die hard. More power when you need it most.
Linen, no better way to face the day.
The morning belongs to Skin Bracer Aftershave. Its cool, brisk tingle really gets you going. And what a great scent. Skin Bracer.
No better way to face the day. Fine linen.
Once again today, ESPN is presenting the Right Guard Halfway Challenge. The driver leading at the halfway lap will win a $10,000 reward from Right Guard Sport Stick Antiperspirant, and you will have a chance to win a Pontiac Grand Prix SE by dialing that number. And then if they call you back later in the race and you know who is leading at the halfway point, you'll win a brand new car. The Right Guard Halfway Challenge back again. The number 30 car of Michael Waltrip continues to perform well as he's putting some pressure on Alan Kulwicki. This is the battle for 4th position.
Boy, when you said pressure, you sure were right. And Kulwicki moves over, lets Michael Waltrip go by. He was only inches from him. These cars, now here comes Earnhardt on the inside taking a look. Earnhardt takes a spot.
He moves up to 5th spot, bringing Alan Kulwicki back to 6th.
And while all that's going on, Lake Speed having problems with the Cale Yarborough Motorsports car. He's going behind the wall, it looks like. Tough break for him here. Let's go to pits and John Kernan.
Well, they're pushing the Trop-Arctic Phillips 66 car backwards into the garage area. Talked with one of the crewmen. They said that Lake had radioed in. He thought it was an engine problem. The water temperature had shot way up. When he brought it in, he did refire the engine briefly, but then they put the hood back down, and they were pushing it back here to the garage. We'll update you further in a moment.
Well, a tough break for Lake. This was a one-race deal with Cale Yarborough. He was hoping for much better things. Now, here is Mark Martin in car number 6 and Darrell Waltrip in car number 17.
They head into turn 3. We're looking out the back of Mark Martin's car. Darrell Waltrip coming up on him. And there's Davey Allison right behind both of them.
10th, 11th, and 12th right here. As we go back into the pack to show you some of the action as Sterling Marlin continues to lead this race. And the bumper cam now looking back on Darrell Waltrip. He's taking a little bit higher line, and then Davey Allison behind him. Going from about 165 miles an hour down to 140 in the middle of turns number 3 and 4 before getting back on the accelerator hard right here in this area of the track and reaching the top speed on the racetrack of what, about 170, Benny?
170. Right now, that car is doing 170 miles an hour, braking now to about 120, 25 miles per hour. So they have to really check the speed of these automobiles getting down in turn 1.
Mark Martin 9th, Darrell Waltrip 10, Davey Allison 11th as we watch the action back in the pack.
Trying to get on the inside of Martin. Martin looks like he's a little bit quicker than Martin if he can just get by. But passing at Darlington is not the easiest thing in the world to do.
You have to set a man up, work on him for several laps. And sometimes that doesn't work, but it is a tough chore to make a pass here at Darlington on a car that is running equal speed with you.
Mark Martin in the headlines a lot last year from the midseason on. Almost won the Winston Cup. Most of the headlines concerning this team this year has been the reported disharmony within the team. But they may have their act together now, and Mark Martin is really as well off this year in points as he was last year. Alan Kulwicki, the 25, and Ken Schrader, but up ahead of them, Michael Waltrip continues to march toward the front of the pack as he pulls alongside Ernie Irvan in the battle for 3rd spot now.
Well, Ernie Irvan backed off. I started to say he was going to run in on the lap car of H.B. Bailey going into that turn. Right there he is, but Bailey gets down out of the way, and Ernie Irvan did back off, give him the running room he needed. Michael Waltrip looking very strong here. He had a good race at Atlanta a few weeks ago. Felt he had a good shot at winning that race, but he wound up in 5th place, so they come in here pumped up.
And here comes Earnhardt. Now look how high Dale Earnhardt is already up in turns 1 and 2, and this is early in the race. There's no more race. There's a wall there. There's no more racetrack. I'm surprised he's up there this early.
Now he's going to look to the inside of Irvan, and he makes the pass. So Dale Earnhardt now moves to 4th position, and the fans are on their feet.
At least the Dale Earnhardt fans.
The Dale Earnhardt fans are, and there are a lot of them. Meanwhile, up front, you can see the interval between those guys and the leader, Sterling Marlin, and the advantage that he has on 2nd place, Jeff Bodine.
But look at that yellow 30. Michael Waltrip closing up on the back of Jeff Bodine.
And Bodine really has closed up on Sterling Marlin. Marlin had opened up about a 1.5 second lead, but now it's down to car lengths.
Michael Waltrip began the race in 10th position and is knocking on the door for 2nd.
There's nothing that would please Michael more because I know he wants to do a good job for his sponsor, Pennzoil. He knows he's fortunate to have this company on the side of his car, and he wants desperately to do him a good job.
And, of course, the Pennzoil team won the opening IndyCar race of the year at Australia and would like to register a victory in Winston Cup competition as we go to John Curtin for a report on pit road.
Well, you recall how well Michael Waltrip ran yesterday until he dropped the cylinder. He was getting excellent tire wear on his Busch Grand National car. Ask him about his Winston Cup car. He said it's the same thing. The tires can run the fuel stuff. So we will look for them to be one of the teams that would possibly try to stretch it, as Benny and Ed talked about at the opening of the show.
You know, we saw Michael Waltrip that time go through the middle of the racetrack in 1 and 2 as he takes over 2nd place. on Jeff Bodine, but he was in the middle of the racetrack. Remember, oh, and here comes Bodine back.
You see that happen so many times, although Bodine's going to back off and let him go. But when you go in and pass someone going into turn 3, you just slide right up that track a little bit, and it opens the door, and that fellow you pass just comes right back underneath you. Dale Earnhardt is a master at coming back underneath you when someone passes him. But Jeff backed off and let Michael go.
So Michael Waltrip has moved to second position to Sterling Marlin in the number 22 Maxwell House Coffee Ford, the leader of the TranSouth 500 with 23 laps complete. We've been all green so far. There you can see the interval between first and second as Marlin continues to hold on by a few car lengths. We'll be back with more right after this from the track Too Tough to Tame in Darlington, South Carolina.
One car manufacturer has more NASCAR victories than anyone. Winning over 350 NASCAR races over 4 decades of racing. That car manufacturer is Ford. And that kind of winning performance goes beyond the winner's circle.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
These women are within striking distance of capturing the title at the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Robbie's Open. The action gets rolling Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern live on ESPN.
First caution of the race is out. Alan Kulwicki has made contact with the inside wall coming off of turn number 4, and we will show you how the accident occurred as the safety crew has arrived at the scene. You can see now that normally in years past, pit road would be very busy at this time with the caution out, but not this year because you cannot change tires under a caution flag.
Only Morgan Shepherd came. There's Alan Kulwicki. He's okay getting out of the car, and John Kernan is walking along beside him. John?
Alan has just now walked from the car. Alan, it looks like he got tapped by a slower car out there coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, I sure did. I was watching for the guy, and I thought I had him cleared on the outside, and he still ran into me. And that's too bad. The car was running real good. We were keeping up with the leaders, and everything was fine. We were looking like we were going to have a good day, but it's the way it goes here at Darlington.
Very dejected, disappointed. Alan Kulwicki is walking back. The crew is already back here in the garage area, and they are waiting for the car to come back. They'll survey the damage to see if they can get it back out on the track to pick up some Winston Cup points.
He made pretty hard contact, though, with the left front of the car, didn't he?
The right front of the car.
Oh, that's right.
The right side, Bob.
Yeah, that's right. But Alan is obviously okay. They'll get the car on the hook and take it back to the garage area, and they'll check it over, and possibly the guy who is currently 3rd in Winston Cup points, Alan Kulwicki, might be able to get back into competition.
If you can't wait, you need the News Weekly of Motoring Auto Week. If you can't wait for driving impressions, get Auto Week. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. If you can't wait for car news, get Auto Week. Auto Week covers it all. The great old cars, the auto shows. Auto Week's columnists are controversial and fast. And if you can't wait for racing news, get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week races to bring you the winningest coverage first. If you can't wait, get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year, 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Winston Cup replays are brought to you by Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. With Jeff Bodine on the pole, 40 cars charged to the green flag for the start of the 1990 TranSouth 500, the 5th event of the Winston Cup season. The track Too Tough to Tame lived up to its reputation. Kyle Petty spun after a bump with Dale Earnhardt. And before it was over, Ricky Rudd also became involved. Rusty Wallace suffered damage but continued. Ernie Irvan had a bad day in his second race with the Morgan McClure team. While trying to get a lap back, he spun with leader Ken Schrader. It created a track-blocking accident that forced 5 cars to the sidelines. Here comes Dale Earnhardt to take the lead from Morgan Shepherd. He's got it. It was Dale's second win of the 1990 season, boosting his points lead to 78 over Morgan Shepherd. Earnhardt going for 4 wins in a row here today. There he is under caution, and he is currently running in 4th position as the field gets the indication that there will be one more lap, and then we'll go back to green flag conditions. There is the second place car, Michael Waltrip. Let's go to his pit and Dr. Punch.
Appropriately, Bob, they're all smiles here in the Pennzoil pits. And Bill Engel, your car from 10th to 2nd in about 25 laps. But there's a reason for that. The car looks so strong coming off the corner. What'd you do this morning?
This morning, Jerry, yesterday afternoon in the last practice of Pennzoil Pontiac, we were running pretty good, but we noticed that our times were going to slow down. We lost a lot of RPM with the engine, a lot by 200 or 300 RPM. So we decided this morning to go ahead and put the gear back to it because the pace would slow down enough today and the gear would help us. And that's why you see him pulling up off the corner so much, is because of that low gear.
Well, that's making a difference here in the Pennzoil pits. They qualified about with a 390 gear. They've got a 400 gear in it today to race, and certainly you see the difference when he jumps in that throttle, coming off 2 and out of 4.
And it'll make a little difference in the gas mileage that we talked about at the top of the show, but certainly it does let him run faster.
And it also, that's a calculated risk of whether or not the engine will stand the RPMs on those fresh tires.
Here's the green flag. We're back to racing on lap number 30. 31, the green comes out.
Sterling Marlin has led this race from the very beginning. There's Earnhardt trying to catch Bodine for 3rd spot.
And Bill Meacham just got into Harry Gant going into turn 3, and Gant come down and clipped Dale Jarrett.
2 cars in the wall. Now car spinning behind. 2 more cars are involved. Chad Little is going to be involved. Dale Jarrett took a hard shot as he went into the wall nearly head on. There's Dale's car at the bottom of the racetrack on the apron along with Harry Gant.
Harry Gant's car is moving, and there's the 65 car of Dave Mater, Jasper engine car. But that Sitco Ford, it is crumpled up.
Yeah, it really is. And he had a good run going there today.
We see him throw the seat belt off in frustration.
This is the driver that won yesterday's Busch Grand National race here at Darlington and had high hopes for today's Winston Cup event, but it's not to be. Harry Gant has entered pit road, and Jerry Punch is there.
Well, not a happy crew here at all. They were one of the favorites to win this race today after being the fastest car possibly associated with Rusty Wallace in that final session yesterday. But Gant's car obviously coming into contact with Bill Meacham over there. Heavy sheet metal damage. All 4 corners of the car have been pushed in. Gant can turn the car off. The crew's saying, we can't fix it here. We're going to try to let you stay out on the lead lap. Harry Motors back down pit road trying to beat the pace car back out, but they've got a lot of work to do if Harry Gant's going to have a chance to pick up another TranSouth 500 win.
He's won twice in 89 and 83, and there is the safety crew that has arrived at Dale Jarrett's car, but as you can see, Dale is climbing out. There is obvious disappointment on his face, but he appears to be okay. Let's go to John Kernan, who's with Eddie Wood.
Very disappointing finish to today. I know talking with you this morning, he had a lot of high hopes, but got into another car out there, and it doesn't look like he'd be able to go on.
Yeah, I think he was in pretty good shape. He was just, kind of going to ride a while, but he said that 05 car hit Harry, and then Harry got him. But
Just one of those things that can happen right here at Darlington, isn't it?
Yeah, it can happen quick, too.
Disappointment down here in the Wood Brothers pit. They will head back to the garage area, but they're not anticipating getting that car out. As you said, it is heavily damaged.
It is heavily damaged in the front end, and here is the replay.
There we see Gant in front of Dale Jarrett, and he's going to catch the 05 car. There's Bill Meacham. Goes in the corner. He and Gant touch because you see there just isn't room for Harry. Harry comes off the wall, hits the right rear of Dale, and up into the wall head on. There we see Kyle Petty going by, Rick Mass, Bill Elliott, Rick Wilson, several cars getting by. Who is that, David? No, that was Rusty Wallace up on the outside. Richard Petty gets by. And then we see that Chad Little car has been crashed.
And from another angle, look at the impact that Dale Jarrett takes into the wall. The car coming off the ground, getting airborne. Impact was so tremendous. And now the in-car replay from Dale Jarrett's machine. Let's listen.
Well, the lights went out in a hurry, didn't they?
You could hear Dale get on the accelerator when he saw that Meacham and Gant had touched, hoping to get by them, but it just didn't work.
He probably thought he had Gant cleared, and then all of a sudden he just clipped him by a little bit. They've given Bill Meacham the black flag, fellas. I don't know. That's 2 incidents in a short period of time that he was involved in.
And there is Roger Penske, who is overseeing the operation today on the car that he partially owns, driven by Rusty Wallace. 34 laps completed here at Darlington.
The Suzuki GS 500E, our accelerated savings plan.
Welcome to Mountain Man 101. Let's begin. This is a mountain man. Notice his love of great natural beauty, his instinctive resourcefulness, his healthy respect for a fine pair of cowboy boots. However, the easiest way to identify a mountain man is to look at his hands, which will no doubt be holding a smooth bush beer or an easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and learn to live life as a man among men.
The Suzuki Katana 750. It relieves aching muscles fast.
April is filled with TV you've got to see on ESPN. Major League Baseball leads off with an opening day doubleheader, plus live games 4 nights a week. Jack's back in full swing, joining the seniors at the Tradition. Our team watches your team make its picks at the NFL Draft. Don't miss NASCAR's best, speeding by with 4 Winston Cup races and top thoroughbreds heading down the stretch towards the Kentucky Derby. April's National Cable Month, TV you've got to see on ESPN.
ESPN Speedworld today at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina for the TranSouth 500. We're under caution, and this is why. Dale Jarrett, one of the cars involved in this incident, up between turns 3 and 4. And the camera continued to work. Here it is from another angle. Watch the contact between Bill Meacham and Harry Gant right there.
Harry just cannot save the car. He comes out, clips the right rear of Dale up in the wall. See, Meacham did not keep his car low enough. And that's why NASCAR emphasizes the rookie meetings here so much.
Let's go to Jerry Punch, who's down there as they continue to work on Harry Gant's car.
You talk about optimist. Well, Harry Gant is the height of optimism right now. He just did his imitation of a cue ball over in turns 3 and 4. All 4 corners of his car getting pushed in. They were going to come in and change all 4 tires and set the toe end of the car. But Harry said, hey, if we change tires under the caution, we're going to come back in and lose a lap. Let's don't change tires, guys. We can still win this thing. Just beat some of the sheet metal out, set the toe end, and we'll change tires under the green. We may win it yet. Well, that's what I call an optimist, Bob.
It is, and he remains on the lead lap as he beats the pace car out of the pits. Well, can you believe it, guys? Baseball season is here already. Opening day tomorrow. And we'll have the world champion Cincinnati Reds in action at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon as they go against the Houston Astros. And then the second half of our big opening day doubleheader at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. American League action. The Brewers against the Rangers. That's tomorrow here on ESPN. Major League Baseball season is upon us.
Nolan Ryan going to start for the Rangers?
That's what I hear, yep. He and his son pitched against each other the other night.
What's
Harry
again?
Gant is coming back into the pits as the rest of the field is getting set for a resumption of the race.
Evidently they didn't have the hood pins all in the car. And he could go a lap down before he gets back out on the track because the green flag is about to wave.
Well, here they ought to bring the jack over and as soon as they've waved the green, change tires. Would that be legal?
I think you have to wait a lap, don't you?
No, you don't have to do anything. Right now, I think they can change tires right now. But anyway, the green flag is back out.
On 38, the race resumes. Harry Gant is still on pit road as the rest of the field comes up to speed.
I understand that he has to take the green on the racetrack before he can change the tires.
Now he begins to move away, but the field is at the end of the backstretch, being led by Sterling Marlin. Michael Waltrip running in second spot. Jeff Bodine is third. Dale Earnhardt is fourth. Earnhardt way up against the wall.
Boy, he is up there, I tell you. And again, it's early in the race. There's not any more green racetrack after this, so he's using it all right now.
Putting pressure on Jeff Bodine for third spot. Earnhardt looks to the low side of the racetrack. Bodine protects the position and holds on. That's Ernie Irvan running behind Dale Earnhardt in fifth position. Then comes Ken Schrader. Good tight three-car battle here for third, fourth, and fifth.
Now Ernie Irvan going up there with Earnhardt.
Earnhardt's looking on the inside of Bodine. No, he falls back.
Brett Bodine and Mark Martin are running together on the racetrack in 8th and 9th position. Oh, Earnhardt thought he was going to make a move, but he didn't. Meanwhile, Ernie Irvan looks like he may be thinking about making a move on Dale.
There's the top 5 cars. Here again in the pits, changing 4 tires. Right side up, left side lug nuts coming off.
And Harry must now realize that his chances of winning the third TranSouth 500 in his career are greatly diminished, if not out the window completely. Earnhardt still continuing to work on Jeff Bodine for third spot as Michael Waltrip runs ahead of them and the leader Sterling Marlin.
Irvin running a very, very low line through 3 and 4. You would think that would help him as the day wears on.
Yeah, he kept her down there that time a little bit ago. He went up there with Earnhardt. Maybe didn't like the feel of the car up there and decided to keep her lower. And if you got a car that you can keep low, that's a good sign.
From the channel lock race cam inside Mark Martin's car, we see his battle with Brett Bodine up front, and behind him is Davey Allison. Martin is 9th right now, looking inside in the 4th turn.
Second corner, I mean. Down the back straightaway. And here comes Davey Allison on the inside of Martin. Takes that position away.
Easily.
And now he goes up the racetrack. Here comes Rudd on the inside.
Ricky Rudd in the number 5 car, and Kyle Petty also catching up. Rick Mast is there in car number 1. Rick Mast. And there's Kyle Petty, winner at Rockingham earlier this year. He's the most recent winner of the Unocal bonus money, which right now is $15,200, and the battle for third continues to rage, but Earnhardt still can't get it now. Ernie Irvan moves inside. He may pick up 4th position here. They're side by side going into the corner. Earnhardt is holding him off by a half a car length. And as they come out of the second turn, Earnhardt maintains 4th position.
Yeah, he gets good bike coming off of that turn in that high groove, and that just let him shoot on down the backstretch.
There is Ricky Rudd in number 5, Mark Martin in 6, and Kyle Petty in 42.
Once Mark goes up the racetrack and Kyle Petty looks on the inside, he may have it. He does have the position. Takes it away from Mark.
And Kyle Petty now moves to 11th position. Mark Martin is back to 12th. Now look at Michael Waltrip as he closes in on the leader, Sterling Marlin. He may be looking for the lead here, coming out of turn number 2 and down the backstretch.
He got a good run off that turn. He should get him going into turn 3.
Michael Waltrip passes Sterling Marlin and takes over the lead. Let's see if he can hold it to the line and get credit for leading the lap. That'll give him 5 extra bonus points. Here they come off the 4th corner, and Michael Waltrip does lead the lap. But look at this tremendous battle back here in 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Mark tried to get inside of Brett Bodine. Meanwhile, Rudd, Kyle Petty. And also behind the Mark Martin car, Rick Mast.
Some using the high groove, some using the low. Mark Martin down low there in that turn. Now going to the bumper cam, looking back on Rick Mast. Ricky Rudd second in Winston Cup points at this point in the season, 24 behind the leader Earnhardt. Back up front, it is still Michael Waltrip who has become the second leader of the race, dropping Sterling Marlin back to second spot. Still running in third and fourth, Jeff Bodine and Dale Earnhardt. Then comes Ernie Irvan rounding out the top 5. And we'll show you the top 15 now as we take another break. We're live at Darlington, South Carolina, 48 laps out of 367 in the TranSouth 500. We'll be right back.
Where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? So where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? Just about anywhere you want. Put on a set of Goodyear Wrangler radials, and you'll know why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
The same battery that has started 9 out of 10 NASCAR winners since 1977 also starts millions of cars all over America every day. Die hard. More power when you need it most.
Fact. The full-size Ford has been the best-selling pickup in America for the past 14 years. Fact. Ford has the best full-size pickup value in America today. With AM/FM stereo, special wheels, and low-mount mirrors. This Ford is hundreds less than a comparably equipped Chevy or Dodge. Call it leadership. Call it winning. With values like this, it's no wonder more people are driving the best-built, best-selling American trucks than ever before.
Fast. Easy. You're done.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's Kit. And it lasts.
Back at the TranSouth 500, live from Darlington International Raceway, that is Michael Waltrip who is leading and Richard Petty is smoking. The STP Pontiac appears to be in trouble as Richard slows going out of turn number 2 down the backstretch.
Yes, as soon as traffic clears, he's going to move to the inside of the racetrack. Richard's day is done. Still, there's no caution flag. The leaders are going through 1 and 2 where Richard had a problem, and nobody slipped so far, so I guess there's no oil down. Earnhardt was on the outside of Jeff Bodine down in turn 1 and 2. Now he's looking on the inside of Bodine.
So Dale Earnhardt trying again to take third place away, but Jeff Bodine holds him off. Talked to members of the Bodine crew today and wondered why they weren't particularly fast in yesterday's practice session. That's because they were using old tires in that practice session. Then I kind of thought, boy, that seems to be a dumb idea, but maybe it wasn't.
It doesn't appear to be a dumb idea because he's still third and in running competitively with the leader, Michael Waltrip.
Here's Michael Waltrip and his progression to the front. At the end of 20 laps, he was third. At the end of 40 laps, he had moved to second. And on the 53rd lap, He is the leader of the race.
And pulling away. They have that car hooked up. Tony. He's running 33.73 seconds. That's about 2.5 seconds slower than he qualified. So that's what we were talking about, folks, when we were talking about they're wanting to get those tires off there. Although they look pretty smooth out there, but Benny, they're having to feather the gas through the turns here now, because if they stand on the gas, they're going to. Here's Davey Allison trying to go by Kenny Schrader, but didn't quite make it. But if they do stand on the gas, they're going to break the car loose and compound their problem because eat the tires in more.
That's exactly right. But we're getting 55 laps we've completed. We're going to see some of the cars that are struggling making pit stops pretty soon. Kenny Schrader might be struggling, and we know that he wants to stretch his fuel as far as he can, but struggling the way he is, will he stay out there on those tires, or will he come in and get some tires?
Let's go down to the pit area and Jerry Punch.
Another driver who's struggling right now is Sterling Marlin. Remember, we told you all the engine trouble they had this morning, having to change motors. Well, they didn't get a chance to work on the chassis of the car. That's why the car right now is so very loose. And of course, Michael Waltrip drove right by him. Sterling couldn't do anything about it. He would love to come in and get some fresh tires. I talked to Mike Beam, and they're one of the crews that are going to try the strategy that Ned talked about at the top of the show. They're going to go around 65 laps and pit for 4 tires. That'll put them on a scenario to make 5 stops throughout the afternoon. So that's what they plan to do. 65 laps, some 9 laps from now, but not nearly soon enough for that driver, Sterling Marlin.
So we do go into the situation now where strategy begins to come to the mind of those on pit road and how they're going to play it this afternoon as we watch the action on the racetrack involving Ricky Rudd, the 42 car of Kyle Petty, and the 25 of Ken Schrader. That is 8th, 9th, and 10th on the racetrack. We have completed 57 laps. Right around that 60-lap mark is when we'll probably begin to see some cars come in for pit stops. Michael Waltrip continues to set the pace here, lapping some of the slower cars and having it all his way at this point, looking for his first Winston Cup win here this afternoon at the TranSouth 500. So Waltrip continues to lead now, and we'll take another break so we can come back and show you the action on the pit road as it is expected to happen in the next few laps. Stay with us. We'll be back with more from Darlington International Raceway right after this message.
I watched what I ate, worked out on my Easy Glider, and lost 75 pounds.
This is actual footage of Keith's home video showing his dramatic weight loss. All across America, people have found that 20 minutes every other day works to firm all major muscle groups and helps to lose weight aerobically.
I'm using my arms, my shoulder, my back, my tummy, my thighs, my leg. I get it all.
Dual resistance allows you to adjust tension for both legs and upper body.
I have tried bikes, jogging, even racquetball, and Easy Glider is definitely the best.
And this handsome unit folds down quickly for easy storage.
Call toll-free like I did to shape up and slim down with Easy Glider.
Call toll-free 1-800-972-3400. We'll bill your credit card 3 easy payments of $19.95 each. You get a full 60-day home trial with a money-back guarantee. The total price, $59.85 plus $9 shipping and handling. Call 1-800-972-3400 now.
You couldn't ask for a more beautiful day in South Carolina. It's sunny, it's warm, there's a light breeze, and it's a great day to sit in the grandstand and watch your favorite Winston Cup driver in competition here at the TranSouth 500 in Darlington. Top 5 at the end of 59 laps. It's Michael Waltrip leading Sterling Marlin, Jeff Bodine, Dale Earnhardt, and Ernie Irvan. There is Michael on the racetrack. He continues to circle this 1.3-mile egg-shaped oval. And Ned, in your opening remarks, you indicated that around lap number 61, people are going to think about coming in, and it's lap 61 right now. Back of Michael Waltrip, second and third position belong to Sterling Marlin and Jeff Bodine. And then there's the 3-car of Earnhardt and the 4-car of Ernie Irvan.
Darrell Waltrip. Dave Mater is a car who involved the accident. He's running pretty good.
Evidently, he came in and got some tires, and he is running good. Darrell Waltrip is running good. He has caught Ernie Irvan. Darrell running in 6th place now. And the Jake Elder now on his crew, setting up the chassis. Good situation for Darrell Waltrip.
There's Davey Allison in number 28 in the middle of that pack with a slower car in front of him.
That's Rich Bickle in 47, the Canal Insurance car.
Talking about Davey Allison, Larry McReynolds is the new crew chief on that car. He was with the Brentwood Iron team.
And here is the first car to come in for a pit stop. John Kernan will call the stop of Kyle Petty.
Kyle's crew chief, Gary Nelson, is orchestrating this effort from high above the racetrack. He told me before the race started, expect us to be one of, if not the first, to come in because he wants to go with a 5 pit stop strategy. They will come in and change 4 tires 5 times. He feels that that's going to give them an advantage in speed on the racetrack over the cars to try to push it and go the whole race on just 4 stops. The right side still up on the jack on the left side. The front car right. Kyle goes in 23.1 seconds. A really good stop.
There is Junior Johnson conferring with Mike Beam as they wonder when they should bring in Sterling Marlin.
Exactly. They said, what do we do now? Do we go to hit the 70 laps, or would you bring him in and put tires on it?
It's still hard for me to imagine that they could go 74 laps, even as slow as the pace is now. That would not burn quite as much fuel, but going 74 laps to go 100 miles, it's going to be tough for them to go, and why not come in if you're going to have to make that extra stop anyway?
These cars started first and second. They continue to run together on the racetrack, but now they run second and third to Michael Waltrip.
Now, while Kyle Petty was in the pits, the car number 17 of Darrell Waltrip passed Ernie Irvin for 5th place.
Bumper cam looking back on Rick Mast and Bill Elliott. Mark Martin's car number 6. Ahead of him is Brett Bodine in the Quaker State Buick.
And these drivers right now are saying, please let me put on some tires. I want some fresh tires. Kyle got fresh tires. Why can't I have fresh tires?
Yeah, now watch Kyle. Since he has those new tires on there, he run up on a bunch of traffic there, but just look how he's able to go down on the inside of Rick Wilson, no problem. Car just sticks. He'll drive up on the outside.
Bill Elliott.
Bill Elliott. Well, Bill went up there, so he said, okay, I'll go on the inside. Just give me a little bit of room. That's all I want. Here's Rusty Wallace making a pit stop.
The Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac is in for service. They'll change all 4 tires on this car. The fuel will be put in.
Right rear guy was having some troubles changing that tire.
Todd Parrott wearing our crew cam as he reaches and now says, go, Rusty, and Rusty moves back out onto the racetrack.
Well, he's about a little over a lap and a half behind. In fact, he's going to be about a lap and 3/4 behind once he gets his speed up. But look at Kyle Petty. No problem with those fresh tires. Ben, go ahead. The car feels good right now.
Well, that's what all the drivers are looking for, that comfort feel right now. Yeah. Please let me have some tires.
Darrell Waltrip and Davey Allison coming in.
Kyle dropped to 27th when he took that pit stop. But, boy, the car is really going now with the fresh tires. Here is Davey Allison on pit road. And the Robert Yates crew goes to work on that machine.
We saw Davey stop the car. There's Waltrip, Darrell Waltrip up front. Here comes Brett Bodine.
Rick Wilson is in the Snickers Buick. Now, it's time for them here.
Pit road becomes quite busy in comparison to how it usually is. There's the work on the Allison car still going on. Brett Bodine pitted right ahead of Darrell Waltrip.
Darrell's got some kind of trouble getting out of the pits. He can't get the car to move.
No, it's not.
The car's not running.
Now, while that perspective may show you very little room, that is not the problem at all. Darrell is having trouble getting that car refired. They're pushing the car down pit road.
Well, that is going to really cost him a lot of extra time.
I'll bet you he run out of fuel.
Might have.
There's somebody with an ether can. Somebody walks up and hands him an ether can like it was out of fuel. Here comes Earnhardt down pit road, and Darrell Waltrip's right in his way.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. Earnhardt sees the problem ahead and goes inside and is going to make it okay. He is the very first pit stall down toward turn number 1. As the Richard Childress crew goes to work on that car, led by Kirk Shelmerdine and others. They still can't get Darrell Waltrip's car started. They pushed it clear down to the end of pit road.
And he had one of the best runs going here today that we've seen in quite a while. Now he has to take it behind the wall.
You talk about a crew that's exhausted. It'll take them 10 minutes to get their breath after pushing that car that far.
Good stop. 22.4 for Dale. Jerry Punch reports on Marlin's pit stop.
Well, they had originally planned to come in about 6 laps ago. You saw that conference a minute ago between Junior Johnson and Mike Beam, and so that changed the strategy a little bit. Now on lap 71, the Maxwell House Ford team changing all 4 tires. Right side lug nuts have already been replaced. Hustle around the left side of the car, and Mike Beam going to the right rear of the car. He will make a chassis adjustment. Meanwhile, Michael Waltrip brings the Pennzoil Pontiac down pit road. We're continuing here on the left side of the Maxwell House car. Michael Waltrip's car now going to get a 4-tire change there. Crew going to the right side of that car. They will change tires, cleaning the front grille of the car. We would expect to see a 4-tire change on the lead machine. Now moving to the left side of the car. Crew now with the lug nuts. Pull the left front and left rear tire off. They roll the fresh rubber in. Split screen now. Jeff Bodine on the bottom of the screen. Michael Waltrip on the top. Left side now on the Bodine car. Michael Waltrip's car is moving down. And then complete the Budweiser Ford crew now working to put left side tires on Jeff Bodine. His car down and away. And great pit work here, gentlemen. 4 tires, all green flag action at Darlington.
Bodine back out on the racetrack after his first pit stop of the race, coming on lap number 72.
Bill Elliott going out after making a pit stop. Mark Martin and Rick Mast coming in.
And the car that just went by Jeff Bodine, the number 5 car of Ricky Rudd, is shown as the leader of the race because he has not made a pit stop. But there goes Kyle Petty by Jeff Bodine.
And watch out, Jeff Bodine is going to dispense off Kyle Petty as we see the leader, Ricky Rudd, start into pit road. But watch this. I thought he would go right by him, but he didn't. Here's Kenny Schrader. Now he's the leader at this race because he hasn't pitted yet.
And let's go to John Kernan for an update.
Ricky Rudd has brought the Thai Chevrolet, and it will be a 4-tire change. They beat up the rear spoiler just a little bit. Want to get a little more downforce on that rear end. Right sides are on. The Jackman swings it around. They'll come around to the left side. The second can of fuel is going in. His teammate, Ken Schrader, is still out on the racetrack. He is going to stay out there, we're told, until lap 80. Can you believe it? Ricky Rudd service and is away.
Wow, look at Davey Allison coming on with those fresh tires. Ricky Rudd back out onto the racetrack. He and Dale Earnhardt, the only 2 drivers so far this year, have finished in the top 10 every race. Boy, those new tires sure do make you go, don't they?
No question. I tell you, it really has surprised me, fellas, that they're going as far on tank of fuel as they're going. That's I said up front I didn't think they could go 100 miles. Most of them have done it. Kenny Schrader, they say, is going to go 80 laps. That's way over 100 miles.
But that's the way he won the Atlanta race, by playing it conservative. Maybe he has the strategy figured out for this afternoon here at Darlington. Back with more after this.
One car manufacturer has more NASCAR victories than anyone. Winning over 350 NASCAR races, over 4 decades of racing. That car manufacturer is Ford. And that kind of winning performance goes beyond the winner's circle.
Nothing beats the sound of cheers. Nothing beats clean, crisp, and cold. Nothing beats the king of beers. Yeah, nothing. Nothing beats a bud. Yeah, nothing. Nothing beats a bud. Nothing. Nothing beats a Budweiser. Ice cold Budweiser. Nothing beats a bud.
This is where America gets together. Every weekend throughout America, there is great NASCAR racing.
I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Undefeated knockout artist Eddie Cook faces hard-hitting Diego Avila for the U.S. Bantamweight title. It's another championship Sunday on Top Rank Boxing, live at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Welcome back to Darlington. Kenny Schrader is on pit road on lap 79. We had told you he was going to wait until lap 80, but they radioed him a lap ago and said pit right now. So the crew will go to work on the right side. It will be a 4-tire change. They will take 1 round of bite out of the right rear. They swing around to the left side. The lug nuts already off, tires off. The tires going on. The second can of fuel is in. Tires going on. Kenny waiting patiently, and now he's down and away. 79 laps before they came in. That's amazing, gentlemen.
About a 25-second pit stop for Ken Schrader, but he did stretch it further than anyone else. Now picking up the lead was Morgan Shepherd, but he has come in. Now remember, he pitted earlier for fuel, so this is his first tire change.
So they figured they needed to get that car in and get some new tires on it, even though the fuel was probably still okay for another 10 laps.
Bud Moore and the team
making a chassis adjustment on it on the left rear, taking a little wedge out of it, taking a little weight off of there. Good pit stop, 23.7 for Bud Moore and the crew.
Morgan Shepherd gets the car back up to speed as he goes down pit road. And now on the racetrack, we have basically the same players that we saw earlier fighting it out once again. That's Jeff Bodine, Dale Earnhardt, Sterling Marlin, and Ernie Irvan. The leader of the race is Michael Waltrip.
And Jeff Bodine passed Dale Earnhardt coming off the second corner right there the last lap. And look, in one lap, he's pulled away from 3 or 4 car lengths. And here comes Sterling Marlin. So Earnhardt, it looks like he's got a little bit of a problem because here comes Ernie Irvan. Going to take that spot away from him.
Wow, Earnhardt dropping from 3rd back to 5th here, and actually 2nd back to 5th in just a little over a lap. So Dale Earnhardt is back to 5th position now. Dale Earnhardt has 49 career wins. As I ask you guys your first trivia question of the day, a win today would make him 50 and tie him 7th on the all-time Winston Cup win list. Who would he be tied with besides Junior Johnson?
Hey, I know.
Who?
Ned Jarrett.
You're right. 50 wins would tie him with Ned Jarrett for 7th on the all-time win list. Let's go to the pit area. And John Kernan, who's with Richard Broom, will talk more about this pit strategy for Schrader.
Richard, you went 79 laps before you came in. How much did he give up on the tires to run that long?
Well, John, I'm not sure. We're trying to figure that out right now. I tell you, I think we can run probably 77 laps. We had a lot of cautions. I don't think we give up anything.
So this is your strategy. Go 4 pit stops and hope it works out.
Well, what I'm trying to do is just trying to stretch it as far as I can. Maybe I can come up with 1 last pit stop.
Well, it worked for them in Atlanta. Maybe it will work here at Darlington. Let's go down pit road to Jerry Punch, who is with Darrell Waltrip's crew chief, Jeff Hammond.
Well, they had a great run going, John, as we saw earlier, but the car wouldn't fire leaving the pit. And you had the car behind the wall for 11 laps. What'd you have to fix, Jeff?
Well, what happened, Jerry, was we cut on a pit stop. Darrell was complaining about the motor running out of fuel. And what I think happened, without taking the carburetor to find out for sure, I believe we stuck a needle in the seat. And when he did, it started flooding the motor out, and it finally choked it all the way down. We couldn't get the car running with that carburetor, so we had to replace the carburetor.
A tough break for Darrell Waltrip. He is now 11 laps down. They had to replace the carburetor behind the wall, but he is back on the track.
Right now, he's shown in 33rd position unofficially as he tries to gain back some of those laps that he lost during that very unfortunate situation. He is 10 laps down at the moment.
Now look, here's Michael Waltrip, who is the leader, coming up on Derek Cope, going into turn 2. Cope goes very high. Waltrip looks like he does touch him a little bit as Morgan Shepherd goes by on the inside. Very close call for Michael Waltrip in the Pennzoil Pontiac. They both keep under control and keep going.
Puts Morgan Shepherd back in the lead lap. What happened is Michael Waltrip thought Colt knew he was there and was going to keep the car down, but when they went in the corner, Colt came up, and Michael was already committed to go in there hard on the outside of him and ran over the top of him.
Talk about braking. He was doing
serious braking.
But Michael Waltrip holds on to the lead.
Comes off turn 4.
Hunter's just about to be lapped again as Harry Gant, who had that unfortunate incident a few laps ago. Once again, here's how to enter the Right Guard Halfway Challenge sweepstakes. Just dial that number and register yourself. If they call you back after the halfway point and you know who was leading at the 184 lap mark, you'll win a Pontiac Grand Prix SE. 1-900-420-2222.
Michael Waltrip got things going. You know, Ned, they found something in Atlanta because you said earlier his car in Atlanta was one of the best there. And that's as good as I've ever seen Michael Waltrip run. He comes to Darlington with the same thing. They found something that helps their car.
Yes, they have. Of course, Billy Engel and the crew have worked awfully hard. They got a good engine program, so they're coming together.
Kenny Wilson, the engine man on that Pennzoil car. That's Joe Rutley that just went by in the 75 car, the Denverville Oldsmobile.
Michael's best finish of the year at Atlanta, where he came up with a 5th place finish. Right now, the leader of the TranSouth 500. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. We are 89 laps into the 367 lap race.
Ever wonder what I do when I'm not racing? I'm at Western Auto, kind of checking things out, and you should too. Hey guys.
Hi, Daryl.
Because now you can enter our exciting We Win, You Win $1 Million Racing Sweepstakes. There's monthly drawings for Chevy Luminas, race trips, plus, if I win the championship, one of you will win $1 million.
While you're at Western Auto, pick up your choice of Armor All Protected or Cleaner, just $197 each. Armor All protects and beautifies.
Yeah.
George 117 in pursuit of request additional backup. Do you copy? 117. Sanford 16, we copy. Approaching 69 on the block. Let's get a roadblock.
More police cars throughout America come on Goodyear Eagle radios than any other brand of tires. Why? Because they want it that way.
Attention all units.
Goodyear Eagles. The authorities know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Fact. The all-new Ford Escort is the best-selling small car in America. Fact. The new Escort has the highest owner satisfaction of any car in our history. Fact. Escort has more repeat buyers than any car in its class. Call it leadership. Call it winning. Call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch back at the TranSouth 500 in Darlington, South Carolina, being led right now by the number 30 Pennzoil Pontiac, driven by Michael Waltrip. Now, here's the question of the moment. Is the 25 car playing the right strategy? Because he is several seconds behind.
If this race goes green the rest of the way, that strategy is not going to play. Right now, he's about 27 seconds behind the leader, and they've only made one pit stop, which means Michael Waltrip, after one more pit stop, he can make an extra pit stop and still be ahead of the 25 car. But that is if they go green, so, you know, that usually doesn't happen here at Darlington.
That's right. If the caution were to come out right now and Kenny Schrader could make up that 27 seconds, then it would be good strategy. So we'll just have to wait and see what plays.
Well, certainly the pit rules that have been instituted by NASCAR have really brought into effect race strategy. As we take our first field snapshot of the race, watch for your favorite car to come through. Watch for its colors and sponsorship and find out how it's running in relationship to the leader. Here comes Kyle Petty down, Dale Earnhardt.
Davey Allison about to pass Dale Earnhardt, trying to. Ricky Rudd in there. Hud Strickland moving up in the top 10 now, running good.
H.B. Bailey just went by in the red and white car. Rusty Wallace, that's Bobby Hamilton in the green automobile. Bill Elliott. There's Schrader.
Here comes Brett Bodine, Rick Mast.
Dave Marcus, Rick Wilson. Here comes
Terry
Labonte. And our leader.
And there's a leader once again.
Mickey Gibb just going a lap down in the 24 car on the inside. J.D. McDuffie in the blue 70.
Earnhardt, meanwhile, seems to be struggling a little bit. That car is not running as well as it did earlier in the race. You can see that Davey Allison is right there on his rear spoiler, along with Darrell Waltrip and Ricky Rudd. And here comes Allison to possibly pass. Is he? Nope, he isn't going to make it. But nevertheless, Jerry, is there a problem with the 3 car?
Well, Bob, let's find out. They're not real happy here in the Goodrich pits. Let's talk to Carl and Richard Childerton. Richard, your driver is struggling a little bit. What's the problem?
Well, we don't know if we got a tire going down. We might have cut a tire or something with a slow leak, because he said it's been real loose ever since our last stop.
So apparently you're just going to have to ride it out?
Well, we can't come in and get tires. You know, we could, but we'd lose more. We're just going to see what happens here for a few more laps.
Dale Earnhardt's got an awfully loose race car, and it's a tough place to drive with a loose car, guys.
Richard Childress has 6 wins here as a car owner, and as a driver in 1973, Richard Childress finished 4th in this TranSouth 500. Ooh, good, tight racing coming off of turn 4. Davey Allison looking inside once again at the line. Let's see if he can pick up the spot from Dale Earnhardt, and yes, he does.
He moves up the racetrack, blocks Dale Earnhardt. Here comes Darrell Waltrip. Now, remember, he's changed carburetor, so he's got fresher tires than these other fellas.
That was 6th place that Davey Allison just moved into, drops Earnhardt back to 7th. Now Ricky Rudd goes around Earnhardt. So that's another position.
Earnhardt is back to 8th spot as Rudd.
And here comes a 12 car on the outside of Dale Earnhardt. Whoa!
Here's a good battle. This is for 2nd spot as Ernie Irvin tries to take it away from Jeff Bodine. They run side by side through turn number 2. Down the backstretch, it's the Ford of Jeff Bodine on the outside and the Chevy of Ernie Irvin on the inside, and Ernie takes the position away from Jeff. He moves to 2nd, and look at this. Sterling Marlin now going high side. Jeff Bodine slowing down.
Something's wrong with Jeff Bodine. He's coming in the pits.
Yeah, this would be an unscheduled stop, fellas.
Boy, he decided at the last moment to pit and really had to get onto the brakes in order to make pit entrance. Jerry Punch is right there in the Jeff Bodine pit. He's coming rather slowly down pit road, Jerry.
It was a big surprise that Junior Johnson and Tim Brewer, who was sitting here on a 2nd tire, they both jumped up and jumped over the wall, and apparently he felt they must have a tire going down. They're going to change all 4 tires here, so a costly break for Jeff Bodine. They had finished the right side tires. Now Pete Wright slings the jack beneath the left side of the car. Tim Brewer pulls the left front tire off, looks to his left. Junior Johnson rolls that fresh Goodyear Eagle up there. They slap the lug nuts on, and Bodine is away in 20.4 seconds, gentlemen. That's 4 tires in less than 21 seconds.
When you consider they were not even ready for it,
yeah, that was great. And 20.4 seconds seems like such a short time, but boy, it sure mounts up, doesn't it, on the racetrack?
Well, but he did lose some time because he had to turn so sharply getting into the pits that it did cost him some time, no doubt about it.
So Jeff Bodine, the pole sitter of the race, makes an unscheduled pit stop and loses many positions because of it.
Now watch him go blowing by that 3 car with these new tires.
Again, it's fresh tires.
On the apron of the racetrack, he just drove that on the apron. Well, new tires certainly makes a difference.
No doubt about it. He's about a half a lap behind the leader, so that's the car that he needs to pass to get one of the laps back that he is behind. I assume that he probably is 2 laps down. We'll check the scoring here in a moment and see exactly where he is on the racetrack.
NASCAR, by the way, using for this race a computer-assisted scoring program that is working very well. And
Bob, with that quick pit work, he is only 1 lap down, but he's about a lap and a half behind the leader we see on the screen now, Michael Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip continues to lead here at Darlington, South Carolina. We've completed over 100 laps, and we'll be back with more after this.
The Suzuki Katana 600. It jams even before you start playing.
The hot new styling of the 1991 Sonoma is so much fun. It's all you really need on a Saturday night.
GMC truck, it's not just a truck anymore.
The new Sonoma 4x4 features shift-on-the-fly 4-wheel drive. So you'll get easy driving, even in driving rain.
GMC truck, it's not just a truck anymore.
Brett Bodine, one tough driver, talks about Quaker State, one tough motor oil.
At North Wilkesboro, that Carolina asphalt was hot enough to fry our King Racing Buick. Our engine was running hot, 240 degrees, and I had to keep pushing it over 8,000 RPM. Now that's when you start worrying about your oil's viscosity breaking down. But when the going got tough, the same Quaker State you can buy right off the shelf was tough enough to get me to the finish line first.
Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
No matter how hard you play, you can't beat the financing you've been waiting for. Now at your Suzuki dealer.
We're live at the TranSouth 500, the 5th stop on the Winston Cup Trail for 1991 at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina. And we're delighted you could join us this afternoon for our Speedworld coverage, which is being brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. By Levi's 505 and 540 jeans for men. And by Busch Beer. Head for the mountains of Busch. There's the leader, Michael Waltrip, with 106 laps completed. Look at the number 12 car of Hut Strickland challenging the 5 of Ricky Rudd.
That's for 7th spot, I believe, Bob.
6th and 7th, that is.
Hut Strickland giving that number 12 Ray Bestis car a good ride for Bobby Allison. Now, let's go down to the pit road, and Dr. Jerry Punch, you can explain what the problem was on Jeff Bodine's car. He came in for an unscheduled stop just a few laps ago, Jerry.
Well, gentlemen, remember how Jeff surprised the crew? He felt a sudden vibration in the left front of the car. He thought he had a tire going down, but the Goodyear tires were fine. Let me show you what actually happened. The lug nuts began to work loose, and the tire began to move around on the studs, and this tire began to gall away part of the metal on the wheel, I should say, as the lug nut was loose and the wheel began to move. Another half a lap, and this wheel would have sheared off, and that car would have been in the wall. So that's what happens when the lug nuts get worked loose on a car. It begins to vibrate. And fortunately, he was in turn 3. He said, I'm coming in. I got a vibration. They changed the tires, and he certainly dodged the bullet.
That's what happens when these fellows do 19-second pit stops. Sometimes the lug nuts are not exactly tight.
Here's a field summary now as we continue to show the action on the racetrack. We'll show you where everybody is running here with more than 100 laps completed in this 367-lap, 500-mile race. There is Jeff Bodine.
Strickland has went by Rudd now.
Jeff Bodine seems to be working well since he got that problem corrected. There's the leader, Michael Waltrip, as he comes up on the 26 car of Brett Bodine, trying to put him a lap down. Brett right now is in 15th position, and there are 15 cars on the lead lap. So if Michael can pass Brett, we'll only have 14 cars on the lead lap. By the way, Kulwicki there in 35th position, involved in that crash. He's back out there on the racetrack.
Trying to get all those Winston Cup points that he can. He is third going into this race today in the Winston Cup points.
Waltrip now looking inside of Brett Bodine in the Quaker State Buick. Kenny Bernstein owns the car. He's here this weekend, has the weekend off of drag racing. They'll be back in action next weekend. Here is Sterling, or rather, the 12 car of Hut Strickland to the inside of Davey Allison, and Hut goes into 5th spot.
Hey, that car is really working well. I watched him some yesterday in practice, Bob, and he was quick. He was very smooth on the racetrack. And I forgot to mention at the top of the show that he might be one of the cars to watch here, but he really is proving that the car is good.
Well, he ran so well at Daytona, did finish 29th after being involved in the accident. His best finish of the year, 13th. That was at the most recent race at Atlanta. We're talking about Hut Strickland from Calera, Alabama. Now he's closing on Kyle Petty for 5th position.
Now remember, Kyle Petty was one of the first cars that pitted, so his tires are getting more worn than his competition than Hut Strickland's and some of these other cars. Davey Allison, they'll pass Kyle Petty with ease. We're going to have to wait till the end of the race. Stop more often, get better tires, or stay on the racetrack.
Blue rule sure has changed the strategy, no doubt about it. Look at Hut just drive on around Kyle up on the outside. Kyle gives him plenty of running room, and he knows he has a faster car right now, so he lets him go.
That puts Hut Strickland in 4th position.
Of course, Ernie Irvin's still running 2nd, and in 3rd is Sterling Marlin, and the car number 4 of Ernie Irvin is gaining on Michael Waltrip. And Hut Strickland, as we see him on the left of the screen there, is about 13 seconds behind the leader. He is running in the 4th position, about 13 seconds behind. You're looking at 4th, 5th, Kyle Petty, 6th, Davey Allison, 7th, Ricky Rudd.
This is one of our new innovations in Winston Cup coverage this year. Once in a while, we'll go back in the pack, and we'll identify for you the cars that you are watching. Continue to try to improve our coverage of Winston Cup racing. This is our first race of the year, the first 4 races of the 91 season, covered by different networks, and we would certainly like to welcome TNN to the family of networks that cover Winston Cup racing. Our next outing will be next weekend as we go to the short track that thinks it's a super speedway, Bristol.
Boy, Bristol, what an exciting place that is.
Here is Ricky Rudd trying to get around, and does go around Kyle Petty.
Now, Bob, I want you to see this replay that we've got queued up. I was watching it a moment ago. Rick Mast goes in the corner and gets the car completely sideways, goes up, touches the wall. Now, this is our leader, the 30 car, Michael Waltrip, is running in the back of this 1 car. I thought it was going to be a heck of a collision.
And Michael was saying, oh, no.
Not again, because he almost got into it, a little bit earlier there with Derek Cope.
But you got to have a lot of luck to win a race, and so far Michael has had a couple instances of good luck so far on this event, so it could be his after. Here's Sterling Marlin, 3rd place car on pit road. Jerry?
Not a good day for the Junior Johnson cars. Apparently, a rear tire going down on the Sterling Marlin car. They think it's a right rear tire going. In fact, it's a left rear tire. The left rear tire is literally coming apart because it is flat. He is running on the inner liner. He's been running laps at 160 miles an hour on the inner liner. Junior Johnson now going across to help raise the left side of the car up so they can get the jack underneath it because the tire is going down. They have already changed right side tires, left side tires going on. They are pulling off what's left of the left rear tire. A tough break for the Maxwell House crew and Junior Johnson as the car is now down and away after 4 tires under green.
Jerry went 55 laps before that tire went down. So that's going to put him a little bit out of sequence, but not nearly as bad as Jeff Bodine.
He stopped 45 laps ago, Sterling Marlin did.
Oh, was it 45? I had it 55, so maybe I missed him. Oh, 45. I beg your pardon.
You're going to have my calculator.
Okay.
Ned, don't ever let Bob Jenkins be right again on this map.
No chance of that.
Michael Waltrip having things his way. Still the leader of the race. Made a pit stop. We're almost 120 laps into the race, and he still doesn't look like he can be beat as he goes by Alan Kowicki in the beat-up Hooters Ford. Here comes Sterling Marlin right behind Michael. Now, what Sterling needs... Oh, I'm sorry, that's Dave Marcus. I thought it was when I saw the blue car.
Now, another innovation we have for you this year in Winston Cup coverage is the Big A Auto Parts on-track interval. Now, the far left column is laps. Laps 105, 106, 107, 108, 109. We timed the laps of Michael Waltrip, and we timed the laps of 2nd place Ernie Irvan, and there you can compare them. Now, the far right-hand column is the interval between the two, and you can see that Ernie Irvan has reduced the interval from 5.1 to 4.7. Then you can check those middle columns and say, well, was Michael Waltrip slowing down or Ernie Irvan getting faster? And you can see that Ernie Irvan really has been faster in the most recent laps, allowing him to cut into that interval.
Michael, the interesting thing is Michael Waltrip, every lap is getting a little bit slower. Does that mean maybe he's got a tire going down? That's usually an indication.
Well, Ernie Irvan continues to move in just a little bit. That was, as you can see, lap 105 through 109. We're now to 121. And now, when my stopwatch says he's 4 1/10 seconds behind, so he's picking up a little more.
He sure is. He is really closing in and going to make a race out of it, possibly in the next few laps. Ernie Irvan from Modesto, California, the Daytona 500 winner. As we widen out and show you the on-track interval between 1st and 2nd position, he's still got a pretty healthy lead, at least on the racetrack.
Yeah, 4 seconds on this racetrack is pretty good distance.
Michael Waltrip from Owensboro, Kentucky, in the Pennzoil Pontiac is leading the TranSouth 500 here at Darlington.
Look for the sign.
Top-of-the-line parts.
The red, blue, and white.
Expert advice.
It's a good sign.
Your Big A Auto Parts store.
Keeps your car running right.
Where the pros go for auto parts.
your car running right.
Someone to depend on when you need to depend on your car.
Hey, I know how you feel. Your weight is up, your energy's down, your self-esteem's low, your blood pressure's high. You know what you need? Exercise. But who has the time? You do. Just imagine what a difference you can make in just 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week with Nordic Track. Nordic Track. They call it the world's best aerobic exercise. Nordic Track's patented flywheel provides smooth, non-jarring continuity of motion, so there's no stress to your back or knees. Your total body gets into the action. That's not true with ordinary exercisers. Nordic Track's total body workout burns more calories. You'll lose weight, reduce stress, and feel better. I'll bet you never imagined fitness at home could be this easy. Now is the time to get rid of that unfit body. Create a new you. Try Nordic Track for 30 days at home with no risk or obligation. You'll see and feel the difference. Call for a free video and brochure.
The NFL Draft.
Draft day. Ha! Longest day of my life. It isn't official yet, but I think we're going to take you next. And I'm just sitting on the phone like...
Find out who gets the call and which picks will fall. The controversy.
It's obvious to me right now that the Jets just don't understand what the draft's all about.
And the anticipation.
Indianapolis selects
of the NFL Draft. Sunday, April 21st, live on ESPN.
Racing at an average speed of 130.956 miles an hour, Michael Waltrip leads the TranSouth 500 Winston Cup race here at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina. Running in second is Ernie Irvin. Third is Hut Strickland. Fourth, Davey Allison. Fifth, Ricky Rudd. Now, Morgan Shepherd currently shown in 12th position, and he is on the lead lap. Now, remember a few laps ago in this incident?
I remember it well because I thought Michael Waltrip and Derek Cope was going to crash. Michael has to jump out of the gas, hits the brakes hard, hits Derek Cope, dives down to the inside, but there goes the 15 by Michael Waltrip to get back in the lead lap.
And he has kept the distance. He moved out a couple of seconds in front of Michael Waltrip and has just stayed out there. So he is the last car on the lead lap. 12 cars currently being shown on the lead lap. So that could play very significantly for Morgan Shepherd as time goes by, especially if they should get a caution.
And there is the interval between the 15 car and the 30 car.
Some of our checkers around the racetrack have been checking, and they found that the new tires are worth about 1.5 seconds a lap. But they've also found in 5 or 6 laps that the tires seem to get back to normal. So the new tires may not be the advantage that we're making it out to be.
And we are talking about the radials. They are running the radials and not the bias plies here at Darlington.
It is a hotter day here than usual in April. The temperature was scheduled to get up to about 80 degrees. I think when we went there, it seemed to be pretty close to that.
Another one of our field snapshots. Watch for your favorite driver to come around. There's Jeff Bodine. Harry Gant with the battered car. And talking about battered cars, there on the right is Alan Kulwicki, as he was involved in an incident early on that damaged the front end of that car.
Davey Allison in the pits. Let's go to pits and John Kernan.
It's going to be a 4-tire change for the 4th place car. Davey had pitted, was one of the first cars to come in, pitted shortly after Kyle Petty. They will go to work. Joey Knuckles will put in 2 rounds of Biden to the left rear. Davey had radioed in and said the car was loose. Right sides are on, left side going up. They'll slap the air wrench on the lug nuts. And Davey Allison, he's waiting. Finally, the left rear lug nuts are tight. He is away. Now let's go down to Jerry Punch.
They have already changed right side tires on the Dale Earnhardt Goodrich Chevrolet. They are now putting the left side tires on. Lap 130. A little bit early for what they would like to have come in, but they had that tire. Now the car stalled. They will have to push the car and refires, and he is away.
Don't see that happen very often.
No, it's been 59 laps since Earnhardt stopped. That's too early, but he had to stop and get some newer, better tires on there and get the chassis adjusted.
Now, let's watch. We'll see Michael Waltrip come up on the outside of him. Maybe he's going to have to hustle to keep from going 2 laps down. We don't see that yellow car yet of Michael Waltrip. Earnhardt is going to be able to stay just 1 lap down, but he's almost 2 laps down. We see Earnhardt there now. If we pan back just a little bit, well, here's Ernie Irvin in the pits, but Michael Waltrip was not far behind him. Look, they're making a chassis adjustment. Tony Cody Glover, the crew chief there, making the chassis adjustment on the Kodak Post, or Chevrolet.
Sticker tires being put on the left side of the car. The car is full of fuel. A little bit of trouble on the left front. Now things are on securely.
A little bit further up pit road, Rusty Wallace is in, getting the change of 4 tires. As Ernie Irvin goes back out.
There is Earnhardt on new tires. Look at him pass Morgan Shepherd. The car stalls, but watch the crew react to that factor.
The car moves. Now you can't push a car if the engine's running, but when that engine died, they all dove in there and pushed the car, because then it's legal when the engine's not running.
And one crew member didn't successfully make the jump over the wall, falling in the process, but nevertheless the car got fired okay. And Dale Earnhardt got back out there, losing only 1 lap, but it was close to losing 2 as he goes inside and passes the guy with whom he battled nearly all year last year for the Winston Cup, Mark Martin.
See, now, Michael Waltrip is right behind Dale Earnhardt. What a great break for Earnhardt. If he could get a caution now, he could make up almost 30 seconds and still have his fresh time.
We have only had 2 caution periods, however, during this race. One for Alan Kulwicki's crash on the 25th circuit, and then on lap number 33, an incident involving several cars, including Harry Gant and Dale Jarrett.
Here comes Michael Waltrip in the pits. He's decided he's had enough of those tires. He wants some more. Drives her down on the apron of the racetrack and hits pit road.
He couldn't afford for Ernie Irvin to stay out there too long at the speed that he's running and making up a lot of extra time on him. So he's coming in, and Jerry Punch is right there.
In fact, Ed, he has only run 63 laps at his first pit stop. He committed initially on lap 72. We would expect to see a 4-tire change. And the problem Michael's having on the track is not what you might think. His car is still too tight. They started the race with the car extremely tight as they finished the right side tires. They didn't change it on the first stop. They felt, well, the track will get very slick and it'll even out. That's not been the case. The car is still very tight, so they will make an adjustment here. They put the left side tires on. Good pit stop. He is down and away. Great green flag stop for the Pennzoil crew.
That has given Hut Strickland the lead, fellas.
Michael ran 63 laps on those tires before he came in, and there is the leader behind Rick Mast. Hut Strickland in the Rebessa's car, number 12. Look at his move toward the front. 20th lap, he was 20th position. 65th lap, he had moved to 10th. By the 100th circuit, he was 7th. Now on lap 136, he is the leader of the race. Hut Strickland.
We see him going by Rick Mast, and I know there's a fellow up in the hospital in Blacksburg, Virginia, Hugo Phelps, who didn't want to see that. Hugo, the longtime scorer for me and all the cars of the Jackson brothers, in the hospital up in Blacksburg. And Hugo, we all love you down here, buddy. You know that.
Bobby Allison, the car owner of Hut Strickland's machine, has himself 5 Darlington wins, 1 in the Southern 500, rather 4 in the Southern 500, and 1 in the TranSouth 500.
Here's Ken Prater in, and I don't believe he went as far as he did the last time, Jerry Punch.
No, he did not, Dad. You know, just what you guys said. If someone comes in and changes the strategy by getting fresh tires and begins picking you off, you're going to have to come in and do it the same thing. So he certainly didn't go nearly as far. They have changed right side tires. They make an adjustment in the car. Likewise on his Kodiak Chevrolet. Left side tires going on. Almost a little trouble with the left front. Now they look like away.
So maybe this indicates a change of strategy for that team.
You know, we talked about a chess match earlier in the show. That's exactly what somebody changed their way of doing things. Now they're back doing the things the way the other teams are.
Let's take a look at Rusty Wallace. Todd Parrott wearing the crew cam as Rusty comes in for his pit stop. He's the time carrier, and he's going to make an adjustment on the car. You can see that he looks to the front, then he comes back, gets the brakes down there, takes a little bite out of the right rear, which should tighten the car up a little bit. Goes around on the other side, looking at everything that's going on. In fact, making an adjustment on that side. Good pit stop for Rusty Wallace, but Todd Perry was a busy fella.
He was a busy job, and you know, when there's only 7 people across the wall, you have to do more than one job. You carry the tires around, then you make the chassis adjustment. Here's Kyle Petty passing the leader, getting back in the lead lap.
And so, too, it appears Davey Allison.
Once again, what a tremendous advantage it would be if Kyle could now get a caution flag and have those fresh tires and be back in the lead lap. back of the tail end of the lap.
But for the moment, Hud Strickland leads the TranSouth 500 with Ricky Rudd running second. Third position, Morgan Shepherd. Fourth, unofficially, would be Mark Martin, and fifth would be Michael Waltrip. Now we have Morgan Shepherd into the pits, so he relinquishes his third position. We understand that Hud Strickland, the leader of the race, is going to be in 6 more laps. So while we wait for that, we'll take another break. From Darlington, South Carolina, and the TranSouth 500. We'll be right back.
You know, our team's been real competitive with our Pontiac Grand Prix. So you can imagine how pumped up we got about this new high-tech engine Pontiac offers. It's called the Twin Dual Cam V6. Man, this is quality hardware. It's got 4 cams, 24 valves, multi-port fuel injection, and all kinds of torque and horsepower. But the bad news is, rules won't let us put it in our Grand Prix. You want to hear the good news? You can get it in your Grand Prix.
When doctors were asked which of these 2 pain relief formulas they preferred, number 1, they chose the Goodies formula by more than 3-to-1 over BC's. And when people in the South, Goodies, choose their number 1 headache powder,
why, Goodies, of course.
Goodies wins again because Goodies has the formula most doctors preferred, and BC doesn't. Goodies. No wonder it's the South's number 1 headache powder.
Time to go, boys. You've been in there long enough.
Hey, we're not even tired. I feel good.
So I've checked the mileage and
Hey, we're the auto lights. We're guaranteed.
Guaranteed?
I feel good. Yeah, 2 years no matter how far we go.
A spark plug guarantees that.
We do. Yeah, we're the auto lights. So go pull the plug on somebody else.
Okay.
We had been told that Hut would come in 6 laps, but he chose to come in earlier than that. He had a 26.8-second pit stop, changing all 4 tires and gassing the car. He moves back out onto the racetrack. Hut Strickland gives up the lead to the number 5 car of Ricky Rudd, now being shown in first place. So Hut Strickland making his second pit stop, and there is the leader, Ricky Rudd, on the right of your screen, and that's the 8 car of Rick Wilson on the left.
Looks like every car has stopped sooner this time than they did the first time. Ned, you think they could be getting in position to win the Gillette Money the Halfway?
Could be.
That's $10,000.
Yes, sir. That's a lot of money. So, yeah, they might plan this strategy accordingly.
We continue to be amazed by the effort that the pit crew men. Look at the move by the jack carrier.
And he stumbled. He just about fell, but he did keep his balance and got back over because he knew he was the guy with the jack. He had to get over there.
Oh, Ken Schrader bumping the wall. Oh, and Earnhardt just misses, and so does Rusty Wallace. Oh, my goodness.
Great driving by some race car drivers. That is unbelievable.
Boy, he put a Darlington stripe on her, though, didn't he?
He really did, and that's going to hurt him. He has some smoke coming from the right rear. I think the right rear quarter panel is knocked in against the tire.
Yes, he's going to have to make a pit stop, and the crew is scrambling around getting ready down there.
He was running in 11th spot when the incident occurred. Just got the car up too high in the corner between turns 3 and 4, and it brushed the wall. And watch Earnhardt and how he just barely escaped.
What happened? Schrader hit the apron going in. He got the car too low going in, goes up, hits the wall, and comes back, just barely touches Earnhardt. I don't know. There might be some damage to Earnhardt's car.
Great driving, though, by Ken Schrader to avoid a major incident. He is on pit road now as the crew will check the tires and the bodywork, Jerry.
Richard Broom orchestrating what they're going to do to try to fix the car. The crew goes to the right side. Richard Broom had just told the guys, no tires, no tires. So they're going to look at the damage first, and now they must change the tire. Apparently they have a right front tire that has been cut. And the crew now coming across to change tires. A tough break from Kenny Schrader and the Kodiak Chevrolet crew.
And Ricky Rudd.
Exactly, Bob. We were both about to say the Tide Chevrolet of Ricky Rudd. That was our current leader, is in the pits. And Rudd now getting his service. We would expect to see him. And the car number 6 also in the pits fitting, of course. That is Bart Martin. Schrader's car is down the way. And Ricky Rudd's crew now changing the left side tires. Waddell Wilson and the crew, they have changed 74 laps the first time. This time 74 laps again, so it's lap 148. They're right on schedule, Bob.
It's a good pit stop, about 22 seconds.
A little over 22 seconds for Ricky Rudd.
And you notice they made a chassis adjustment on that car, too? Almost every car that comes in the pits, they're making chassis adjustments on.
And not just minor adjustments, pretty major adjustments.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned how they may be setting up for the right guard halfway challenge. At the halfway point, the driver leading will win $10,000, and you could win a Pontiac Grand Prix SE. Dial the number on your screen, and if they call you back after the halfway point and you know who led at that 184 lap mark, you'll win the Pontiac. The right guard halfway challenge, that will be coming up on lap number 184, and we're right now at 149.
Ricky Rudd just went 74 laps. That's 101 miles. And Mark Martin also went that same distance. He was in just the same time that Ricky Rudd was, or a lap before, actually.
Average speed of the race is a record at this point. We're at 132.435 pace, and the average race record is 131. Here is Ken Schrader making a second entrance onto pit road.
Jerry, they didn't get it all fixed.
Well, Dan, what they think they might have is a problem with the Panhard bar. Now, rather than me take time, I'll let you and Vinny explain it in just a minute, but they are working now on the left side of the car. They will change left side tires. Apparently, when he slammed the wall up there, he knocked the rear end of the car over, and they may have bent the Panhard bar. And certainly the rear end is pushed up against the fender here on the left side, and it is caught back on the right side. That's going to make it awfully tough to drive. It's either way.
And here's what happened. Kenny Schrader is going in the corner. Down on the inside. He goes in the corner. He's too low. You see, he's on the apron of the racetrack. That throws him up into the outside retaining wall. And the Panhard bar, what happens is that's the thing, that's the bar that keeps the rear wheels centered in the car. Now that he's pushed the rear wheels over, the left rear is rubbing the quarter panel on the left side.
So it's nice that we could go back.
We can see it. There you
go.
Look. You see where the left rear is rubbing the quarter panel? They still haven't beaten it out enough.
Yep.
And it ain't cracking, as they say. The rear wheels are not running in the same crack as the front wheels, which will make it handle very poorly.
So when we went back and rolled the tape back a little further, it was very plain what happened with that three-car, three-abreast situation there at the end of the backstretch. Schrader was just too low to get into the corner that carried him up into the wall. The leader continues to be Michael Waltrip, and now everybody has completed his second pit stop, and so that still puts Michael Waltrip into the lead. We'll show you the top 15 at the end of 155 laps. We are live at Darlington, South Carolina. Back in a moment.
Hey, Mike, hand me my channel lock pliers.
Tommy, give me that plier over there with the blue handles. What kind of pliers is that? These are channel lock tongue and groove pliers. My dad uses them on his race car, too.
For the tough jobs and the small jobs, reach for Channel Lock, the handiest plier of them all.
Hey, guys, anybody seen the channel lock pliers?
Channel Lock. Be sure you're getting genuine Channel Lock pliers. Look for this trademark.
Grand Prix, Coop. Say your status. Climbing through 10,000 feet, heading 194. Switching to frequency modulation. Anti-lock brakes operational. Head up, locked on. Twin dual cam V6. Powered up. Yeah, Roger, Grand Prix. You're looking good.
Think I'll ever drive a car as fast as you?
Well, maybe, if you don't do drugs or alcohol or drop out of school.
Promise we won't.
Okay, then let's make a deal, a contract.
Get your own contract at any Citgo gasoline retailer. Mail it back and you'll get Dale's official poster. Plus, a chance to meet him at a real NASCAR race.
Be a performer for America.
Without drugs or alcohol.
Get your contract at Citgo today.
There's the leader of the TranSouth 500 from Darlington. It is Michael Waltrip. Just ahead of him, there's some cars doing battle on the racetrack. Rusty Wallace there on the far left of your screen. Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip, along with Harry Gant, who, of course, is many laps down.
Now, Waltrip made a pit stop not too long ago and is running faster than Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace, so he just went around Earnhardt. But a few laps ago, they were really battling back and forth, Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt, giving the fans a little extra thrill here at Darlington. But now Rusty is pulled away from Earnhardt.
Darrell Waltrip, by the way, is...
Well, the 12 car just hit... I'm sorry, the 12 car has just hit the wall up in turn 1. He's come off turn 2 now. As we see Dale Earnhardt come off the second corner. Earnhardt's car just isn't right today, is it, Ned?
No, it isn't. It's not like the cars that took him to 3 victories in a row here at Darlington.
There we see the 12 car coming in the pits.
After a brush with the wall up in turn 2, Hut Strickland brings the Rebestos Buick onto pit road rather slowly.
That's a shame. He looks like looks like he may have a broken panel bar or something like that as well.
Here's John Kernan.
Jimmy Finnick lifts the hood. They're looking under. The left side of the car, you can see a tire mark, but you can't hear it or see anything. But you can see where the right front fender is crinkled just a little bit. They pull away the sheet metal. Now Jimmy talking on the radio to the crew. The right side still up on the jacks. Hutt will refire the car. They tell him to shut it off again. They still have a little more work to do. Looks like they are going to be here for a little while.
Well, too bad. He led the race at one point, and when the incident occurred was running in 12th spot. But Hut Strickland now on pit road, watching the others lap him. And his chances of winning are pretty much over at the moment.
I'm telling you, this racetrack, Dale Earnhardt said it absolutely best a couple of years ago when he hit the wall down in turn 1. He said, I got fresh with the old lady. She reached up and slapped me. I mean, this racetrack, you have got to respect this racetrack. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. You're going to drive to the garage area.
You cannot relax your concentration for 1 second on this racetrack.
Well, you not only have to admire the racetrack, but you have to admire the drivers who have won here. And in 1978 at the TranSouth 500, the winner was Benny Parsons.
Oh, I almost
remember
forgot.
that?
Barely.
And in 1973, the first time that this race became a 500-mile race, it used to be a 300, then it used to be a 400. And in 1973, when they made it a 500-mile race, Benny Parsons wound up in second position.
I remember that race. David Pearson won, and I was 13 laps down in second. You think we didn't have prices that day?
How about an update on Hut Strickland, John?
Well, when he hit the wall, Bob, bad news. He busted a brake rotor, so they are taking it behind the wall back into the garage area to replace it and get him back out here on the track just as soon as he can. Jimmy Finning and the crew, as well as they were running, understandably, very, very upset as they head back to the garage area.
Yeah, they should be very disappointed because they had a real shot at winning this race this afternoon. Now, let's give you a pit stop analysis here. Michael Waltrip last pitted on lap number 35, got gas in 4 tires. We project his next stop at lap 198. You can see that Ernie Ehrman pitted 4 laps earlier than Michael, and he's next expected in around lap 191. Jeff Bodine last pitted on lap number 99, so he should be coming in at about lap 170. Kyle Petty expected at about lap 185, and Davey Allison not until lap 200.
I don't know exactly how many laps, 198, there's 169 laps. If every 60 laps, if they come in, that would make it to the end of the race. So Michael Waltrip, it looks like his strategy is working pretty well.
Yeah, now Jeff Bodine, of course, is a little off sequence. He's going to have to come back in earlier because he had that loose lug nut situation. And that will probably require him to make an extra pit stop sometime during the race.
Michael Waltrip could become a first-time winner here today. Now, the Winston Cup Series has had at least one first-time winner every year since 1976. Well, we talked about Benny Parsons' performance here. Now, Ned Jarrett never won the TranSouth 500, but Ned does have a Southern 500 win to his credit. That was back in, what?
65.
65, right.
Yep.
Back in the pack, it is Jeff Bodine, Kyle Petty, and Davey Allison. And this is for 3rd spot.
3rd, 4th, and 5th, we see on the screen.
And Jeff Bodine, Ned, is running pretty good. The fact he's been out there with 30, 40 laps more on his tires than the competitors.
Yeah.
Here comes Davey Allison on the inside of him. Kyle Petty.
Kyle ran up on Jeff Bodine there, and that opened the door a little bit for Davey, but he was not able to make the pass. Now, according to the projections we saw on the screen there just a moment ago, Jeff Bodine is scheduled to come in about 4 more laps.
That's right, and he's still staying in front of these cars. So Ford doing a good job this afternoon, and Jeff and this crew needs this a good run today, Ned.
Yeah.
Just another reminder that the 30 car is the leader of the race, Michael Waltrip, and he is about to lap the guy who started on the outside of the front row along with his teammate Jeff Bodine. That's Sterling Marlin in 22 going 1 lap down.
You mentioned that Jeff Bodine needed a good run here today. They've been off to a bad start this year. A lot of rumors have floated around that he might be leaving that team and all that kind of thing. That isn't going to happen, but certainly there has been a lot of rumors and maybe a little bit of dissension in the team. But once they won the pole here, they pulled them back together, and they went into this race very determined. Had the bad luck, but they still are in good position for this race.
You see any smoke coming out of that 30 car? Some of the NASCAR observers say that they have seen smoke coming from the 30 machine. Jerry, how's that being received by his pit crew?
Well, NASCAR sent an official down here to talk to Bill Engel a minute ago. They thought it might have been overheating, but Bill described what the problem may have been. Bill, they said they saw some smoke from the car. What is it?
Jerry, we believe what it is. When we changed the gear, a little bit of oil got into the hub, and it's maybe just seeping a little bit onto the hub. It's hot and it's making smoke. Water temperature is fine. There's no leakage on pit road where we made our stops, so it's not enough to even worry about. It's showing a little film right now on the back of the car, but it's nothing to panic over.
That's the story here from the Pennzoil pits.
So Michael Waltrip continues in the lead. His best career finish was a second place in the 1988 Miller 500 at Pocono, Pennsylvania.
Warning. Cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact. Independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
Maybe next time.
Every summer weekend, millions of the smartest guys in America fire up their Murray mowers. What makes them so smart is that Murray's rated one of the best in quality and performance, with a 2-year warranty backed by 10,000 service dealers, at a price that's about half of other top quality mowers, which makes Murray mowers tough as they come, any way you cut it.
Jeff Bodine pulls out of his pit road after making a pit stop. Now, it was 2 laps later than we had projected. We said he'd come in on lap 170. He came in on lap 172. Jeff Bodine gets fresh tires and builds up speed going on to the backstretch here at Darlington. Leader of the race still Michael Waltrip.
There is Michael.
Of course, in second place, Ernie Irvin. Third is Davey Allison. Kyle Petty is fourth, and Ricky Rudd in the 5th position.
And ESPN gears up for the start of the Major League Baseball season. Tonight, here on ESPN at 10 o'clock, Chris Berman, Ray Knight, and Peter Gammons will have a season preview. That's tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And then tomorrow, of course, our big doubleheader beginning at 2 o'clock Eastern Time with the Reds and the Astros. And at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, the American League opener Brewers against the Rangers. Baseball time is back on ESPN. 6 cars remain on the lead lap, and while we were in break, Dale Earnhardt went a lap down, and so did the number 2 car of Rusty Wallace. And so there are now 6 cars on the lead lap.
I don't think the 2 cars are lapped down.
No, he hasn't been lapped yet.
He's just in front of the 30 car, but he's not a lap down yet.
Okay. I beg your pardon.
Dave Marcus, the Big Apple supermarket car. Dave having a pretty good run here today. He's been out there plugging away all day long. He's 2 laps down right now. Well, I guess he just went 3 laps down, but he's being shown in 19th position.
We are 9 laps away from the halfway point. 175 are complete. 184 is the halfway point, and $10,000 to the leader of the race at that time. Michael Waltrip currently in the lead. We're looking for second place. There he is, Ernie Irvan in the Kodak Film Chevrolet, running in second spot right now.
It appears to me as though the interval has remained about the same when we checked it 50, 60 laps ago.
Of course, Jeff Bodine has dropped out of the top 5 now once he made his pit stop. So that has moved the others up in position. You can see where your favorite driver is running back in the pack.
Jimmy Spencer, back with Food Chevrolet.
He's running 16th and losing another lap right now as Michael goes inside in turn number 1.
Kenny Schrader all the way back to 25th now after his problems with the wall.
Harry Gant, of course, was taken out of contention early on with a crash up in turn 3. Alan Kulwicki also had high hopes this afternoon. He, however, was also eliminated as far as a possible winner in an early crash.
But as a result of coming back out, Bob, he was going to be 39th. If he didn't come back out, he's up to 35th now, so that's a gain of 12 points. And who knows, that might mean several $1,000s at the end of the year in Western Cup point money.
Boy, what a difference a year has made for this driver. A year ago at this time, Ernie Irvan was in his second race with the Morgan McClure team. Now, he took over the cockpit of this car at Atlanta last year and had a great run. He came here at Atlanta, or rather to Darlington, with great hopes, but ran into some problems. And we asked him, were you ready for Darlington last spring when you were here?
Well, I was over ready, I think. Heard of ever ready? I was over ready, and we make some mistakes, and we learn from our mistakes, and we move on, and we remember those things, and it's a good experience.
Ernie Irvan has come a long way, and I think no better indication of that than his terrific victory at Daytona this year. Let's go to Jerry Punch, who's in Sterling Marlin's pit.
Scheduled pit stop for Sterling Marlin and the Maxwell House team. We would expect change all 4 tires. At least they better. They just took the lug nuts off the left side. Now they come around to the left side of the car, take the left side tires off, roll fresh rubber up there. With your Eagle going into place. They are really pushing up on that rear spoiler. Mike Beam wrenching that spoiler up to try to keep the car a little more stable on the racetrack, and he is headed back to turn 1.
26.5 seconds here to make that pit stop. Not too bad, considering all they did.
He was in 10th position when he came in. There's Michael. And now how many laps is he from the halfway point?
3 more laps, and this boy's going to $10,000. I might hit him up for a loan tomorrow.
Now, what would you do with the money?
Well, all yours. With all my money, what would I possibly want to borrow something in for, right? I thought I was going to have to fix his teeth. We were in a basketball game a couple of weeks ago over in Kannapolis, North Carolina, and Hal Goodson stumbled around on the court, and Michael and I jumped up the ladder, and I hit him in his tooth with my head, and I thought it knocked his tooth out.
That was the one we had on Speed Week?
Yeah.
That was a great game. They lost. NASCAR guys lost by what, 1 point?
1 point. Jeff Hammond missed a layup with 5 seconds to go. Jeff, you're a non-basketball player if I've ever seen.
Way to go, Jeff. Stay in the pits. You were the coach, though, right? I knew you wouldn't get on the shorts and go out on the court, huh?
I'd be better than that. I was the coach.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing you in shorts in Daytona, and that's why I knew that you wouldn't do it again. Okay, 1.5 laps to go for Michael Waltrip. This time around, he'll complete lap 183. As we see Rusty Wallace coming in for a pit stop as Michael Waltrip stays out on the track. Here's Rusty. Knowing he had no chance at the halfway challenge money, he comes into the pits. Running in 6th position, last car on the lead lap. Todd Parrott, of course, wearing our crew cam once again, overseeing things. Now he's back over the wall right now.
Someone else to go over and
now he comes over. He's on changing that left rear tire.
When the lug nuts fell off, he was reaching there and putting another lug nut on. Here we go, Michael Waltrip.
Here he comes. Oh, he almost had a collision with the 87 car of Randy Baker, but Michael Waltrip has established himself as the leader at the halfway point. He takes home the $10,000 Right Guard Halfway Challenge Award. And if you have entered the contest and are called back in the next few minutes, you could win the Pontiac Grand Prix SE. So don't go away from your telephone right now, because you may receive a call here in the next few minutes. And if you know Michael Waltrip was the leader of the halfway point, you'll win the car.
Let's take a look at the close call he had as he came up down to get the halfway signal. That's Randy Baker in car number 87. That's at least 3 close calls he's had. Look at there. He hits again. Randy didn't know that he was out there, I don't believe. But anyway, they got it squared away, and he came across to get that 10 grand.
How many bullets is he going to dodge today? I mean, they keep shooting at poor old Michael, and he keeps dodging.
That's at least 3 times he's had a close call. This is the battle for 4th position between Kyle Petty in car number 42 and Ricky Rudd in car number 5. And we understand that Kyle, as Ricky goes to the high side and passes Kyle, will be looking for a pit stop in just a few more laps. So we'll take a break and be back for more pit stops and more racing from Darlington International Raceway.
You're pushing 2 tons of steel at 200 plus with just a coat of paint between you and the leader. What's going through your mind?
Stock car fans can now go inside the sport like never before with NASCAR Video Magazine from Time Life Video. Each video helps you gain greater insights into everything from racing strategies to the latest hardware.
Starting with the Daytona experience, yours for just $9.99. It's a behind-the-scenes look at the Super Bowl of racing with Darrell Waltrip, Richard Petty, and Jeff Bodine. Plus how dyno technology is pushing engine performance and a lot more.
Here's how to get started.
Call to get the Daytona experience for $9.99 plus shipping and handling. Use your credit card and we'll send you a free gift. This NASCAR Daytona 500 board game. Other videos like Top 10 Drivers, Fathers, Sons, and Brothers, and Evolution of the Race Car will arrive about every other month at $16.99. There's no commitment. Cancel at any time. The NASCAR Video Magazine from Time Life Video.
Top Rank Boxing moves to Thursday. IBC World Welterweight Champion Kevin Pompey puts his title on the line against Santos Cardona. Top Rank Boxing, Thursday night, live on ESPN.
As we projected, Kyle Petty is on his way to pit road. We were about 3 laps off in our estimation. However, it wasn't too bad. Here's John Curtin right there.
No, it wasn't bad at all, Bob. Kyle Petty getting serviced, right sides going on. There will be a full tire change. They have not made a chassis adjustment yet. We do not anticipate one. Swinging around the left front tire changer also cleans off the front grill. Kyle sips a nice cool drink of water from something out of a space shuttle. Now they have a problem with the air wrench. Apparently the air wrench was bad, so they will lose some time there. Now the left front is going on. Lose some time when the air wrench came off of the air hose, it looks like.
Well, certainly the problem reflected, Ned, in the total time that it took him on the pit road.
Yeah, 32 and a half seconds, and when they normally do that, about 22 or 23. Here comes the second place car, and Dale Earnhardt down pit road. Jerry Punch is in Ernie Irvin's pit.
You got it, Ned. Ernie Irvin is in the pits here. His scheduled pit stop. They will change 4 tires. You're seeing Dale Earnhardt pitting as well. The Childers crew going to work on the car number 3. They have changed the right side tires, and now they move right on the left side. Meanwhile, still working on the right side of the Kodak Chevrolet for Ernie Irvin, and they continue to have trouble with the right front tire. Now they finally get the car off to the left side. A lot of time here is going to cost them some valuable time. Earnhardt is already down to the way. They're just now putting the left side tires on what was our second place car, Ernie Irvin. A tough race. Now they finally get the car to Jack, and he is away.
Boy, just a disastrous pit stop for Ernie.
Yeah, that had to be over 30 seconds. I didn't get my light started on him, Bob, as he came into the pits, but that was a long pit stop, which will really reflect on the racetrack.
These green flag pit stops put in more and more emphasis on the crew and how they react in the job they do. 22 seconds versus 32 seconds, 10 seconds. That's almost a half lap at this racetrack and a lot of racetracks.
A lot on the racetrack. The average speed of the race is well over the record, which is held by Lake Speed at 131.2. Right now we're running at an average of 134.877. It's been a relatively accident-free race, although we have had 2 crashes resulting in no injuries. But there, as you can see, well above the race record by over 3 miles an hour. There's another close call for Michael Waltrip as he came up on Bobby Hamilton.
Well, I tell you, he picked that left front fender right up there on the right rear quarter panel of those cars that he's passing. Morgan Shepherd goes out of the pits. But he's just living a charmed life so far.
Let's check the Western Auto Race recap. Michael Waltrip has led 121 of the 187 circuits. We had 2 caution periods for a total of 10 laps. 5 cars remain on the lead lap, and there again is the race record average speed to this point. Those that have led include Hud Strickland, Michael Waltrip, of course, the most. Sterling Marlin was a leader early. Ken Trader was also before he had a problem, and Ricky Rudd has led this race. Out of the event, Lake Speed was the first to go. Dale Jarrett because of the crash. Bill Meekum also out. Chad Little, Richard Petty had mechanical problems and dropped out. And now the mechanic, Western Auto mechanic of the race recap as Waddell Wilson leads the point standings right now with Andy Petrie second, followed by Danny Glad, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Tony Glover. As you can see, more action on pit road. Davey Allison has brought his Avalon Texaco Star Ford in for service. Already they've changed tires on the right side of the car. Now coming to the left side, and good pit stop for Davey Allison.
It was a good stop. No major mistakes in that pit stop.
There's the leader, Michael Waltrip, and we can now put another mark in the close call column. This is how it was a few laps ago when he came off of 4 and Bobby Hamilton was in the way.
The leading rookie contender so far this year.
What is Michael doing down there?
Yeah,
looks like he lost control of the car as he exited turn 4 and was trying to save it down there.
Well, you have the car turned pretty good when you come off of there, and it has a tendency to go down that way. But most of what you want to do is just sort of let it drift up against the wall. But he just kept returned and went right on in toward where Hamilton was there.
Well, let's go down to Jerry Punch, who has an interesting story about the halfway money. Jerry?
Now, guys, get a hold of this. One reason Michael Waltrip may be sort of bobbing and weaving. He may be a little bit mad right now because he is not going to get the $10,000 halfway right guard challenge money. At least not from right guard. And the reason is, well, they don't have the decal on the car, but we'll let Chuck Ryder explain that. Chuck, you're not going to get the $10,000 from right guard, but because you don't have the decal on the car, correct?
Yeah, Jerry, that was Pennzoil's decision. Because of their tradition with the decals, they will now compensate us for that $10,000. So it's an important situation for them, and we respect them as our major sponsor, and we thank them for their support.
They wanted a fewer decals on the car, but the right guard program goes on, but they're going to compensate you for the 10 grand.
It's an excellent program, and we respect NASCAR and right guard for that program. We just are sponsored by Pennzoil, and again, it's their decision.
Well, a little bit of a different wrinkle here, but I guess the folks who call in now, Bob, still got to remember that it was Michael Waltrip who was leading at the halfway point.
That's right, Jerry. It has no effect whatsoever on the fact that a car might be given away here in the next few laps.
Well, that's exactly right, but it has an effect on who gets the $10,000. You think we can go put our name in the hat? I mean, is no one going to get the $10,000, or is the second place?
I'd say right guard would save that.
I don't know. I would imagine so. Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
But you can see as Ernie
back in. Yeah, Ernie's back in.
Well, he had a long pit stop just a few laps ago, and now Ernie Irvan comes in for the second time in just about 5 laps.
We talked about loose lug nuts. I would say that the right front tire, they did not get that tire tight. He felt the vibration like Jeff Bodine did. He's back in.
Yeah, they worked on that right front for a long time before. Now, this is a very quick pit stop, a little over 13 seconds, but apparently they just couldn't get the lugs tight on it.
So Ernie Irvan loses more positions as Michael Waltrip continues to lead here at Darlington. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Ever wonder what I do when I'm not racing? I'm at Western Auto kind of checking things out, and you should too. Hey, guys.
Hi, Daryl.
Because now you can enter our exciting We Win, You Win $1 million racing sweepstakes. There's monthly drawings for Chevy Luminas, race trips, plus if I win the championship, one of you will win $1 million.
While you're at Western Auto, pick up your choice of Armor All Protected or Cleaner, just $1.97 each. Armor All protects and beautifies.
Yeah.
Power then, the Exterminator, the Organ Man,
And now his termite control arsenal includes the exclusive Orkin flow meter for the most precise treatment available. Other methods may give too much or too little protection, but Orkin's precision treatment stops termites cold, guaranteed. The Orkin Man. One call destroys them all.
I've got the car. I've got the team. And I've got the drive. I'm off to a great start.
McDonald's has everything under the sun to get your day off to a great start. Hot, fluffy biscuits, scrumptious Egg McMuffin sandwiches, and griddle fresh hotcakes.
You know, when you get off to a great start, there's just no telling how far you can go.
April is filled with TV you've got to see on ESPN. Major League Baseball leads off with an opening day doubleheader, plus live games 4 nights a week. Jack's back in full swing, joining the seniors at the Tradition. Our team watches your team make its picks at the NFL Draft. Don't miss NASCAR's best, speeding by with 4 Winston Cup races and top thoroughbreds heading down the stretch towards the Kentucky Derby. April's National Cable Month, TV you've got to see on ESPN.
A 26-second pit stop for Michael Waltrip, 25.8 as he gets up speed and goes back out onto the racetrack. So Michael Waltrip has made his 3rd pit stop of the race. And now Bill Elliott is in, and John Kernan is right there.
Bill Elliott moved all the way up to 3rd on the scoreboard. He was a lap down, but when Michael Waltrip pitted, that gave him his lap back. So Bill is in for a 4-tire change. Even though they have outlasted several of the other cars on the track, they will have to pit at least 2 more times to make it the rest of the 500 miles. Final drop to go in, and Bill is down and away.
Some new faces on that Bill Elliott team this weekend. Russ Bales, Philip Young, Eddie Crump, and Doug Shanker on the team. Dan Elliott has retired, and some other adjustments made in that team. But Bill Elliott, before he came in for that pit stop, was shown in 6th position.
Elliott was a lap down to the 30 car and the 4 car, but I noticed that last stop he ran right with those 2 cars. Competed with him, but he is a lap down to him.
Now, what about Ernie Irvan? He just made that pit stop a few minutes ago, unscheduled. Jerry, what was the situation?
Well, Bob, Benny Parsons must have a crystal ball up there because he guessed exactly right. They had left the right front lug nuts loose on the car. They came back in. They didn't know which one it was. They just felt the vibration. They changed all 4 tires, but indeed it was the right front. So, hey, good job, BP.
He's lucky. No.
Oh, look at Ernie Irvan almost spent out as he tried to get under Morgan Shepherd. Oh, Ernie. Good death.
I take nothing away from Benny. You're good. I've changed my attitude this year. As you can see, Ernie, although a successful Daytona, things have not been going all that well since then. And watch him get on the brakes here and almost lose it.
Watch this, Ned.
Well, he does really get on the brakes and keeps her under control.
He almost ran the back of Morgan Shepherd and then almost spun out and didn't do either. So.
And they were fighting for position, by the way. Morgan Shepherd is 10th, and Ernie Irvan is now in 11th position. Let's go back and analyze this pit stop by Michael Waltrip.
It looks like a bag of ice that they're putting in with Michael Waltrip. He's dumping the ice out of the bag, probably on his feet or in his lap, trying to cool himself off because it's warmer today than it's been since last fall. And I'm sure these drivers are awfully hot because we haven't had a caution flag for, what, a couple hours now.
You're right, yep. Now, notice the lack of decals on that car as we take a shot of it coming down the straightaway. Normally, there are a whole bunch of decals above the front tire on either side of the car, but that isn't the situation with the Pennzoil car. That's the reason why they will not be picking up the $10,000 from right guard. Here's another look at this incident from another angle.
Well, he was trying to go under Morgan Shepherd, and Morgan comes down because he wants to follow Michael Waltrip. He wants to try to get that lap back.
What had happened there, when Michael Waltrip went under Morgan, Morgan slowed down, figuring that Michael was going to slide up into him. He slowed down, and Ernie were running there at full speed and was just about to run all over him and had to lock the brakes down.
And there is Ricky Rudd, who is now the leader of the race with Michael Waltrip's pit stop. Ricky Rudd picks up the lead, but he will have to have a pit stop before too long.
All the deep-down quality that makes a Buick so enjoyable on a Saturday afternoon is forged in the heat of weekends we spend throughout the year. So while you're considering the ownership of a bright new Buick, rest assured that Buick engineers are out at the nation's racetracks, racing to make your new Buick even better. Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
So, did you break him, Raj?
Break him? I own him. That horse and I are one. We achieved a special kind of oneness. Man and beast, speaking the same language.
What's that mean? Means they'll be talking again tomorrow.
Ace is like a neighbor who can do everything.
Well, almost everything.
All you gotta do
is ask Ace.
Yeah.
Ames Comfort Plus shovels and bow rakes with padded handles are $7.99 each. 32-ounce Armor All Protectant, just $5.88.
Hey, Ace is the place for me.
Right, neighbor.
Top-of-the-line parts, expert advice. That's your Big A Auto Parts store.
Big A, the sign that keeps your car running right.
Back with more of our live coverage of the TranSouth 500 here in Darlington. Ricky Rudd in the top Chevrolet has the lead of the race, completing lap number 213. He last pitted on lap 148.
65 laps he's been out there. His tires are getting pretty warm. We see Jimmy Spencer going by Jeff Bodine. That means that he has fresh tires on that Banquet Foods Chevrolet.
Now, Ricky Rudd is getting himself in position, sort of like Ken Schrader was, as we see him try to lap the fifth-place car of Jeff Bodine. That he's been running. Ooh, they get together. He slips a little bit coming off of turn 4. But he might be able to make it on 4 pit stops. He's been running about 74 laps on each stop.
Okay, now we keep talking about the guy on the outside giving the fellow on the inside position. Why didn't Jeff Bodine do that? Because he knows that the 5 car is the leader. And if he passes and the caution comes out, he's a lap down. Everything he can do, he wants to stay in front of that 5 car to save that lap.
Here's a great shot from Mark Martin's in-car camera, the Channel Lock in-car camera. As he circles the racetrack, but there may be a problem on this car, right, Jerry?
Well, right, Bob. You know, he's scheduled to make his pit stop any time now because he and Ricky Rudd, neither one have pitted yet for their scheduled stops. The concern here is Mark Martin has lost first and second gear. He only has third and fourth. And remember, NASCAR does not allow the crews to push the cars, and that kills you under a green flag stop. However, Steve Neal has asked the NASCAR official, because they have a transmission problem, to please let us push the car a little bit to get it started so we won't kill the motor. And they have granted permission because of the safety factor of keeping the car running and getting it off pit road. And they are getting ready here now to bring Ricky Rudd in next time by.
All right, we'll watch for that. Mark Martin continues to run in 4th position. While we have the opportunity, let us salute as Ricky Rudd continues to lead the ESPN Speedworld team for winning 2 Emmys earlier this week, one for audio and one for the use of telemetry. So that's 4 Emmys that ESPN has won the past 2 years. Ron Scalise, part of that audio team, in the booth today. Now, here's Rudd on to pit road. The leader of the race, Jerry Punch, will call this pit stop as Ricky comes in.
Well, the fuel efficiency status is working awfully well for Ricky Rudd and the Tide crew. Waddell Wilson has calculated it to a T, and Rudd now on lap 217 comes down, and they will make their 4 tire change. They may be able to make it on 1 more stop. They're trying to put those calculators to work right now, changing right side tires. Walter Smith now dances around on the left side of the car. Jack beneath the car, left front now, left rear off, rolling those tires in. Lug nuts going on, making sure they get it completely full of fuel. Right off, they pull the jack, and he is away.
Ricky Rudd pulls out, and so does Rick Mast. Ricky stop about 25.5 seconds.
Well, he's been averaging 74 laps between his stops. There's 150 laps to go. He has to force the issue. He's got to run 75 laps if he's going to be able to make it on one more stop.
And there are the laps on which Ricky Rudd has pitted. He came in on lap 74, 148 and 217. Now, how about Michael Waltrip? How can we compare that? He came in on lap 72, 135 and 203. So he is making pit stops sooner than Rudd.
That's right.
He'll have to make an extra pit stop. But this time, fellas, Rudd only went 69 laps as opposed to that 74 that he had been going.
Davey Allison came in on lap 68, 129 and 124. 194. He is third position right now, by the way. Dale Earnhardt
going yet another lap down to the 30 car.
That'll put him 2 laps down in 8th position. Well, the track that Too Tough to Tame and the driver that many were calling Too Tough to Tame aren't really matching up here today.
If Michael Waltrip stays there, we'll have to call him a tamer. Michael Waltrip, Ned, you reckon that he's led more laps a day than he has in his life?
He might have, and he has led certainly more than he has ever led in one race, and it might be more than he's led in his entire career.
Boy, Dave Marcus got up awful close to the wall that time there in the second turn.
Oh, no, not side by side. Come on, Mikey.
Boy, he has confidence in that car, doesn't he?
He does. Maybe that's why he's making these situations that get him into close calls. He knows the car is working so well. Chuck Ryder, by the way, the owner of this car. This is his 120th start as a Winston Cup car owner. No wins. This could be the day.
And his wife Pat's going in for surgery a week on April the 8th. So Pat, I'm sure she'll take this trophy up on the mantle at the hospital.
And here comes Mark Martin bringing the Folgers Ford in for a pit stop. And while we see Mark coming down pit road, let us make something clear that Dale Earnhardt is only 1 lap down.
I was about to say, you see, we saw him go a lap down earlier. Then he made a pit stop and ran good for a while on those new tires. And then Michael Waltrip made a pit stop. Then that put him back in the lead lap for a little bit. And then he went back around him, of course, and put him that 1 lap down again.
Boy, the Jack Roush crew really working hard on this car. They've got the rights changed already. The lefts are also on, and Mark Martin pulls out of the pits after an excellent pit stop by the Jack Roush Steve Minolet team.
It's awfully hard on that clutch, though, having to take off in 3rd gear.
There's his pit serial. He came in on lap 73, 147 and 221.
Okay, now there's a driver that's pretty well in sync running 74 laps, so running 100 miles on a tank of fuel.
Now he can make it on 1 more stop. No doubt that he can make it on 1 more stop.
We have been emphasizing ever since the Winston Cup season began really on Speed Week how this team is still ahead of last year's pace in terms of points. There is the number 30 car of Michael Waltrip. And you remember 3 drivers last year at the Winston Cup banquet picking up $50,000 each for being named to the McDonald's All-Star Race Team? Well, you, the race fan, have an opportunity to vote your favorite driver onto that team once again. And here are the 4 drivers who lead in balloting right now. Dale Earnhardt has 19% of the vote, Elliott with 14%, Mark Martin with 12%, and Richard Petty with 10%. You call 1-900-737-TEAM to cast your ballot. 99 cents per minute for the phone call, and there are no profits that go to either McDonald's or ESPN. That's how you put your favorite driver onto the McDonald's All-Star Race Team. 3 drivers will win $50,000 at the end of the year. Very happy Jack Roush enjoying the TranSouth 500 here at Darlington.
When trouble with your car has you feeling a little wobbly, hurry into your neighborhood Parts Plus Auto Parts store because you can count on the pros at Parts Plus for the right parts the first time and the right prices. During our Repair America sweepstakes, be one of 2 families to win either a 1991 Ford Explorer or Aerostar. Hundreds of other prizes to win, too. Car owners of all ages count on the pros at Parts Plus.
We're America's family of auto parts stores.
It's tough enough to take you 250,000 miles. Tough enough to take you from Akron to Atlanta. On to Fort Worth and Fargo.
It's the Quaker State Guarantee. A guarantee so tough, your new car's engine is protected against oil-related breakdowns for 250,000 miles or 10 years.
Hartford to Hollywood.
Enroll free at your Quaker State Service Center. You could run out of roads before you run out of Quaker State protection, because Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
Last year, Motor Week named the Pontiac Grand Prix their 1990 Driver's Choice as America's best domestic sedan. Now they've done it again, honoring the Grand Prix sports sedan for the second consecutive year as America's best. The Grand Prix sports sedan. Four-door practicality. Pontiac excitement. And Motor Week's choice for 2 straight years as America's best.
We build excitement!
Here are the top 5 with 227 laps completed in the TranSouth 500. It's Michael Waltrip leading, followed by Davey Allison, Kyle Petty, Rusty Wallace, and Ricky Rudd. Our Speedworld coverage of the TranSouth 500 being brought to you by GMC Truck. It's not just a truck anymore, it's quality on the road. By Ace. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware man. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you, friends know when to say when. Average speed of the race, still well above the record. 131.2, the record held by Lake Speed. Michael Waltrip is on a 136-mile-an-hour average.
He goes by Jeff Bodine, puts Jeff a lap down.
An incident just a few minutes ago between Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd. Let's see what happens here.
You're coming up on Randy Baker coming off turn 4. Wallace on the outside, and Baker almost gets in the side of Rusty. Ricky Rudd turns on and tries to go by both of them. Well.
Boy, Ricky made a good move there. Turned almost square left, Vinny, but it hasn't been that long since he put on new tires, and that helped him to get traction to make that kind of a move.
There are 5 cars on the lead lap at the moment. A lap down in 6th position is Jeff Bodine. 7th is Dale Earnhardt. 8th is Hud Strickland. In 9th position is Ernie Irvin, and 10th is Morgan Shepherd. Running 11th, also a lap down, is Bill Elliott, and 12th, a lap down, is Mark Martin.
Rick Wilson being shown in 13th position. He's 2 laps down. Brett Bodine, 14th. Terry Labonte, 15th. Jimmy Spencer, 16th. Rick Mast, 17th. In 18th, 3 laps down, is Dave Marcus. Mickey Gibbs, 19th. And Jimmy Means in the Alka-Seltzer Pontiac, 4 laps down in 20th position.
And here's the field snapshot, so you can search for your favorite driver. We'll also time this lap by Michael Waltrip and see how he's doing in terms of speed. And Jeff Bodine comes in for another stop.
This would be a scheduled stop for him since he is out of sequence. And Jerry Punch is there.
Indeed, they had a scheduled stop, and they would change all 4 tires. Again, Jeff Bodine being shown in the 6th position, 1 lap down. Of course, this pit stop will take him further back in the field by virtue of him being under the green flag. Now, left side tires, and make sure they're getting all the lug nuts nice and tight. His car down off the jack and pulls away. The first among the top 10 to come in for their scheduled stop.
About a 22.8-second pit stop for Jeff Bodine as he gives up his 6th spot. All right, we'll do the field snapshot again since we were interrupted by Jeff Bodine's pit stop. We'll lock down the camera as Michael comes down through the straightaway and completes another lap. By the way, this is his 6th TranSouth 500. Michael Waltrip's, and his best finish was 9th, both in 1990 and 1989.
See Jeff Bodine moving down on the inside of his teammate, Sterling Marlin.
Here comes a car real low on the track. The one with the front end completely gone is Chad Little, the number 19 Bullseye barbecue sauce machine.
He was involved in that early accident with Harry Gant, Dale Jarrett, and several cars were involved in.
Goes Kyle Petty, Ricky Rudd, and Rusty Wallace.
There's Derek Cope and Wallace once again, or rather Waltrip, 33.5 lap, 146.7 mile-an-hour lap for Michael.
And they qualified at 160 miles per hour average speed.
That's quite a difference.
Quite a difference is correct.
Yeah, they're running about 3 seconds slower than Jeff Bodine qualified. Of course, normally race speeds slow down. 1.5 to 2 seconds, but most of the time they don't slow down 3 seconds, but they are here today.
If you're wondering where Ned and Benny and I and John and Jerry and a lot of other people are going to be the next 5 weekends, we're going to be covering Winston Cup races for you. We have 5 straight weekends of Winston Cup racing. Next weekend at Bristol, Tennessee. The following weekend at North Wilkesboro. Then Martinsville. And the first weekend of May at Talladega.
Talladega, Alabama. They're talking about running speeds 195 to 200 miles per hour. Although NASCAR has slowed the cars down a little bit since Daytona. They decreased the restrictor plate 1/32 of an inch.
So Michael Waltrip holding on to his first place position here.
Fellas, I'm sure there's some fans out there that remember Jim Delaney, who was a great modified driver in the Northeast. He was from New Jersey, and then he moved south and has been working on several of the Winston Cup teams for a few years, but unfortunately he passed away on Friday, and certainly our condolences to his family, Jim Delaney.
Third and fourth position here being fought for by Kyle Petty and Ricky Rudd. Rudd gets that Tide Chevrolet way up against the wall.
I would say Rudd's going to win this contest because he has much fresher tires than the 22 car, and yes, he does.
There he goes. Ricky Rudd moves to third position, passing Kyle Petty. Bill Elliott in for another stop. I don't think this is a routine stop because he was in not too long ago. So Bill Elliott having his problems.
Only been 34 laps since he was in.
They're changing all 4 tires on the Coors Light Ford.
Bill was running in 10th place, 1 lap down before this pit stop.
Again, making sure that all those lug nuts are tight. And Elliott moves back out onto the racetrack. 239 laps are completed. We'll show you the top 10 we're covering live for you. The first time in 1991 Winston Cup season, the TranSouth 500.
If you can't wait, you need the News Weekly of Motoring Auto Week. If you can't wait for driving impressions, get Auto Week. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. If you can't wait for car news, get Auto Week. Auto Week covers it all. The great old cars, the auto shows. Auto Week's columnists are controversial and fast. And if you can't wait for racing news, get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week races to bring you the winningest coverage first. If you can't wait, get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
We are often asked how it is determined what car gets which number in NASCAR. Well, actually, NASCAR owns the numbers, and they assign them to the car owners. We all know Richard Petty has number 43, and Junior Johnson's cars carry number 11. But Rusty Wallace, for the past 5 years, has had the number 27 on the Blue Max cars. This year, his number is different, and how he arrived at this number is a very interesting story. Now, Rusty really wanted number 66, the number he carried for many years in the short tracks and the ASA ranks, and he won so many races that that number was already assigned to Kel Yarborough and Dick Trickle. Well, number 16 was a possibility, but David Pearson had that one. That left only numbers 22 and 2. Now, for you history buffs, in the late 70s, Roger Penske fielded cars in NASCAR for Bobby Allison and Dave Marcus, and they carried the number 2. But what you may not remember is that in 1963, Roger Penske actually competed in NASCAR, and he won at Riverside, California by a scant 10 feet over Darrell Derringer. Oddly enough, he was driving a Pontiac number 2. So there was never any question as to what number Rusty Wallace would have.
And here's a live shot of Roger Penske overseeing his Winston Cup operation this weekend. Next weekend, he'll be overseeing his IndyCar operation as that series opens its American campaign, at least at Long Beach, California. The crew readies for a pit stop by Rusty Wallace.
And here Rusty comes down off the racetrack on the pit road, and John Kernan is there.
Rusty brings the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac Grand Prix into the pits. Todd Garrett has the crew cam on. They will go to work around on the right side. Rusty is handed a cool drink of water from a long stick. We had been told they would pit in about 7 laps. They will take around a wedge in the right rear. Now they swing around Jimmy Maycar and the crew around to the left side. They clean the windshield, making sure that the grill is clean. And now they're looking at Derek Cope. There's a tire or something out there that Harold Elliott was saying, make sure it's out of the way. But it was a NASCAR official, and Rusty is down in the way as the official had to get out of his way. That was what was Harold Elliott was motioning about.
So Rusty Wallace was in 5th position when he came in. Now Jerry Punch will call Ernie Irvin's stop on pit road.
We'll see if that problem they had before crops up again. Remember, they had a lengthy stop the last time, and Ernie Irvin's crew now going to work. The Kodak crew, Tony Glover, and the rest of the Morgan McClure men will change all 4 tires. It'll be the next to the last stop. Ernie Irvin having been shown in 5th position here on the field. They complete service on the right side of the car, move around, jack the left side up, flip those tires off, they roll the tires back in. Remember, a limit as to how many people can pull across the wall. NASCAR official standing here, and the car nearly dies. Now you get your rev back up off the jack, and he's away.
Now, he only went 52 laps on that stop, fellas.
I was thinking that was a little bit quick. Here comes Dale Earnhardt down pit road to make his pit stop. Stops the car. The jack goes under. David Smith gets the car up in the air. Kirk Shelmadine on the right front. Right sides are on. Boy, that was pretty quick on those right sides.
Yep, just a little over 11 seconds on the right side.
Now he's gone 57 laps since he stopped.
21.5 seconds, so that's the best stop we've seen today for 4 tires.
Good stop.
And it looks like the cars that aren't handling that well are stopping early, and the cars that are handling are running 65, 70 laps.
Yep, that's the way the pattern has unfolded here.
It appears as if Dale Earnhardt will not win his 4th consecutive race here at Darlington, tying a record held by Bill Elliott in consecutive wins at a super speedway. Bill had 4 straight at Michigan.
Sterling Marlin coming into the pits as Rick Wilson goes out.
Michael Waltrip continuing to lead. Coming up on Jimmy Means in the Alka-Seltzer Pontiac. Disposing of him rather easily in the middle of the racetrack. Michael leads, and the 2nd position car is Davey Allison. Let's watch for him. There's Michael crossing the stripe. Where is 2nd place Davey Allison? How much of a lead does Michael have on Davey?
About 20 laps ago, it was 8.5 seconds.
There it is.
And now,
yeah, it's a little over 9, huh?
Yeah. So Michael's pulling away. I thought at one time that Davey might be closing in a little bit, but that's not true. He might have, in traffic or something.
We've talked about Bill Engel and the crew and Chuck Ryder, and we talked about the engine department that they have there. We looked at the serial on Davey Allison. Was 7th at 65 laps, 4th, 2nd, now he's 2nd again. We was talking about the Michael Waltrip crew, and we talked about the engine department. I'm not sure we mentioned that Kenny Wilson is the chief engine man over there, and let's give him his credit where he's coming today, because he's got that car running beautifully.
And don't forget Larry McReynolds, of course, is with this team for the first time.
On the 28 car.
Yeah, on the 28 car. Having left the 26 Quaker State Buick operation. And there is Michael. Having things all his way.
And Ryan Pemberton, who was released from the Jack Roush team after a little incident in Atlanta, has gone to work for the 28 team as well. You almost think it's silly season. You think it's September,
early,
October
isn't it?
here. Yeah.
Morgan Shepherd was our 5th place competitor. He's brought the Motorcraft Quality Parts Ford in for a pit stop. They make a quick service on that car and get him right back out there. Rejoin us when we come back to Darlington.
Warning. Cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact. Independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
Nothing beats a winning team, pushing hard, reaching for the dream. Nothing beats clean, crisp and cold. Got the king of beers, you're on a roll. Nothing beats a Bud, Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud, nothing beats a Bud.
Presenting a superbly engineered high-performance machine. One designed to outperform anything the competition has ever introduced, with exceptional starting power, smooth acceleration, and outstanding fuel efficiency. What do we call this masterpiece of engineering? Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug with the advantages of pure platinum. You've never driven anything like it.
To locate a Bosch retailer or service outlet, call 1-800-882-8101.
Thanks for joining us as we debut our Winston Cup coverage for 1991 here at the TranSouth 500 in Darlington, South Carolina. It's a sun-drenched day in South Carolina, and the fans have come out in droves. Normally, this race doesn't draw nearly as many people as it does for the Southern 500 in September, but we have nearly full grandstands all the way around this place as they're enjoying the race and Michael Waltrip's domination, really, of it.
You know, we saw all those people there in the grandstands. In my next life, I'm going to come back as a hat salesman.
So you can make some real money. Well, the number 30 car continues to lead, but the question is their strategy really playing the way they want it to? Maybe an answer from Jerry.
Well, let's let the crew chief answer, Bill Engel. Bill, I asked you a minute ago if there's a problem. You said, yeah, the 5 car's getting too good a gas mileage. Now, how do you play this out? What do you have to do?
Well, right now, Jerry, he has to make one more stop. Depends on Pontiac. We've got to make 2. We're going to fall about 20 laps short. The only thing going for us is with only 4 cars on the lead lap, once we make our stop, after about 20 laps or so, if a caution was to come out, we can come in, pit, fall in right behind him, be 4th, and then be no problem. But as is right now, we got a problem. We're about 20 laps short of a win.
Well, they're going to pray for a yellow flag until they make their next pit stop, and hopefully that yellow, which is the color of their car, will be a good omen for them to possibly get their first ever win for the Bahari Racing Team.
There you can see the laps that he has pitted on, 72, 135, and the most recent time in lap 203, and we're at 259 right now. Here's Kyle Petty making his stop, his 4th of the afternoon.
And he was running in 4th place. He had just been lapped by Michael Waltrip just a lap before he decided to come into the pits.
Gary Nelson, the crew chief on this car, is not down in the pits today. He's watching things from up top.
I've always felt like that was the best place to call the shots from, was somewhere where you can see the whole ballpark, not down in the pits where you can only see them on the front straightaway.
I agree. That's good strategy. Kyle went 71 laps on this last pit.
Gary was saying early this morning, we talked to him about 61 was what he was planning on, but Kyle ran 10 extra laps.
Now here comes the 2nd place car, Davey Allison, into the pits. John Kernan will be right there. This is scheduled pit stop for him, yes, John.
Davey will make this one, then he will have one more to make. Slides to a stop, locks the brakes, the crew goes around to work on the right side. Left side lugs coming off. There will be a chassis adjustment with one round, and Joey Knuckle puts it in to the left rear. Rights are on lefts. Coming off as the jack goes up, the second can of gasoline in. Going in right now, Norman Koshimitsu sticks it in. It looks like it is full. Now they're just waiting for the right rear to be tight. Now Davey is down and away, spins and stalls, and momentarily he gets it refired and going again.
And now here are the laps that he has stopped on. 68, 129, 194, and 260. So he ran 66 laps that last time. You like my math, Benny? I'm getting better, huh?
You are getting better.
So when does that mean that he'll be in again? 66
60 laps, and that would be 325 or so, which would be 42 laps from the end. So Ricky Rudd is going to play this thing out, and he will be able to get by with one more stop.
Yeah, if it goes green the rest of the way, he's going to be in good shape.
Sure
no
is.
question about it. Derek Cope in the pits with the hood up on his car. The 1990 Daytona 500 winner.
What's made Winston Cup racing so interesting this year. You know, Ken Schrader won with the Hendrick team at Atlanta with some pretty smart strategy, and maybe they have figured out the smart strategy on the other Hendrick car with Ricky Rudd.
It appears that way.
But there's the guy that's leading at the moment, and let's not sell him short by any means, because that car and that driver has been pretty much dominant in the first 263 laps of this race. Michael Waltrip is your leader. He needs about 8 more laps, and then will come in for his 4th pit stop of the day. The Pennzoil Pontiac leading here at Darlington, and we'll take another break and be back with more of our live coverage on a warm Sunday afternoon in South Carolina.
Anybody thought about dynamite?
You know, our team's been real competitive with our Pontiac Grand Prix. So you can imagine how pumped up we got about this new high-tech engine Pontiac offers. It's called the Twin Dual Cam V6. Man, this is quality hardware. It's got 4 cams, 24 valves, multi-port fuel injection, and all kinds of torque and horsepower. But the bad news is, rules won't let us put it in our Grand Prix. You want to hear the good news? You can get it in your Grand Prix.
Warning. Cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact. Independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
Welcome back to Darlington. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch as we continue our coverage of the TranSouth 500, and there are exactly 100 laps to go. We've completed 267.
I tell you what, Michael Waltrip is running the absolute classic line around the Darlington racetrack. Traffic is not bothering him because where his car is running best, there's no car there. Now watch him as he goes up on the 94 car. Now he may pass him on the inside since but sometime later this afternoon, I'll show you that line he's running up in 3 and 4 on the top of the racetrack where there is no one, and angels fear to tread up there.
Now, fellas, he's only about 6, although he has a pit stop coming up here pretty short, he's only about 6 seconds away from lapping Ricky Rudd. Now, let's go back to what Billy Engel said there a moment ago, that they're going to have to make that extra pit stop. Fellas, he can make a pit stop for gas and still be in the lead.
Yep. Yeah, I was just thinking a little bit ago, he only 30, 35 laps is all he's going to be short. 1 can of gas will do that. So I think you're right, Ned. I think he can stop, put in that tank of gas, and still retain the lead.
Or be awfully close to retaining the lead.
Now watch it. Watch Michael Waltrip. As you can watch how high he is. Watch up there, Ned.
Yeah. He's got him a good
Most
time
all
there.
the cars are running on the bottom where the Bobby Hillen automobile is running, but not Michael. He's up on top of the racetrack.
Showing you an interval here back to the 5 car. He's on the backstretch, now coming around. So you can see how much time Michael Waltrip has to make that gas stop if he needs it. And here comes Rudd now off the 4th corner.
Yeah, he would lose more time slowing down and getting his speed up than he would in the pits.
Yep. And there is Ricky's pit serial, 74, 148, and 217. Those are the laps that he came in on.
Yep, now see, he only went that 69 laps on that last pit stop, so that's going to cut him a little bit close. He's going to have to pick up and go more laps on some of these others if he's going to do it on 1 more stop.
You're right, Ed, because that last time stopping at 69 laps really hurt his strategy if he plans on only making 1 more stop.
Only Michael Waltrip and Ricky Rudd at the moment are on the lead lap. Lap down in third position is Davey Allison, and then fourth is Mark Martin. We mentioned earlier a computer-assisted scoring program that NASCAR has instituted for the very first time here at this race. Oh, and a crash. It's once again Alan Kulwicki, his second crash of the day. Michael Waltrip was going to come in this lap. Now he will have to wait until the green flag comes out again.
He will. That is correct.
And meanwhile, he's having to race some cars back to the line, which he doesn't want to do. You know, he don't want to take any chances, but Bobby Hillen and also Terry Labonte both are trying to beat him back to the line to get a lap back. He's having to race Labonte. Again, not something he wants to do.
Doesn't want to get in trouble here. There he takes the yellow flag.
Labonte beat him.
And Labonte beat him back.
Yep. Terry was 2 laps down, so he will now be only 1 lap down. And as you can see, pit road is closed at the moment while the pace car comes out and bunches up the field. Our third caution period of the afternoon. This one by an incident involving Alan Kulwicki on the backstretch.
Top of the line parts, expert advice. That's your Big A Auto Parts store.
Keeps your car running right.
Common misconceptions about the Mountain Man. 3, that a mountain man's best friend is his horse. 2, that a mountain man only packs a 6-gun. And 1, that a mountain man only has one favorite, beer. Actually, mountain men are known to favor both smooth bush beer and easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and find out how a real mountain man preserves wildlife.
You know, recycling is giving trash a whole new meaning.
Oh, that's the idea, John.
The Rubbermaid 32-gallon wheel trash can, only $9.97. And a 4 cubic foot wheelbarrow is just $19.99.
Does that make garbage garbage?
Beats me.
Who can you trust these days to take care of your car when it starts shaking?
Or pulling, or rattling.
Or squeaking.
For suspension or alignment, nobody beats Midas.
I worry about something I can't see.
What your eyes can't see, our state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment will show you. You'll get a written estimate before we start. No surprises. Whatever the problem, we keep it from getting bigger. For alignment, shocks, or struts, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Back at Darlington, where Alan Kulwicki has crashed again on the backstretch. Michael Waltrip is coming in for a pit stop, and it's pretty certain that that car is...
It's out of gas.
Almost,
the car is stopped.
It is out of gas.
No.
Michael, well, he got it fired again. Jerry Punch.
They had no choice, guys. They had planned to make the pit stop when the caution came out, as you said a minute ago. They went... Remember, they cannot pass the pace cars. They hustle down pit road. They got to stay behind the pace car, but they had run just about to the length of the rubber band on this thing. They had to come in and get some fuel now. They did not want to see the caution flag initially, but now the crew said this may be a blessing in disguise somewhat. They aren't going to change tires. They're going to put fuel in the car. They're going to refuel the car. Be back out running on the lead lap, maybe be able to stay a little bit with Ricky Rudd and come in and get their final stop with fresh tires, and it just might give them a shot at winning it.
Well, you're right. The strategy we had been talking about was that huge interval that he had built up over Rudd, but now that interval has been erased, and we thought maybe initially it would be a disadvantage, but I'm not so sure. There are the laps in which Ricky Rudd has made pit stops, and he now picks up the lead of the race.
Well, what happened? Rudd made up almost a complete lap on Michael Waltrip because we had documented he was only, what, 5 or 6 seconds behind Rudd to lap him. When the caution flag comes out, the pace car picks up Michael Waltrip. Rudd goes all the way around the racetrack and makes up almost 30 seconds.
Yep. Well, he does, but it did let Michael pit under caution for that gas that he was going to have to stop for. Now, he's going to have to run this set of tires a good bit longer than he would have wanted to, but he will have pressure tires at the end of the race than Rudd will.
Now, what I want to know, Jerry Punch, down in pits, what you've got to find out is what kind of damage he's got to the right rear of that car, because they was working heavily on that right rear. He's made contact. How much damage does he have, Jerry? Does anybody know?
Yeah.
Jerry will check that out for us, but yeah, there is some damage. The wheel well there on the right rear of the car has been pushed in. Now, there are now 3 cars on the lead lap as Davey Allison has been able to get back on the lead lap. So Ricky Rudd, Davey Allison, and Michael Waltrip are the 3 cars that are currently on the lead lap. We are under caution because of the Alan Kulwicki crash in the backstretch. There are the 4 times that Michael Waltrip has pitted on lap 72, 135, 203, and 274.
You see, the first time he went to 72, of course, there was a lot of caution flags. I forgot. In that first segment, there was a lot of caution flags, which the car doesn't use as much fuel. On the green flag, they can only run about 70 laps without running out of fuel.
Well, I'm a little surprised that Rudd has not come in and taken on some gas, because we've already figured it was going to run pretty close for him, because he only ran that 69 laps the other time. There are only 3 cars in the lead lap, and really Davey Allison is at the tail end of the lead lap, and he didn't have that much to lose, but you know, they're the ones that's doing the figuring down there, and I'm up here running my mouth.
There you can see that Rudd last came in on lap 217 for tires and fuel. We're at 276. Yellow flag out only for the 3rd time today as they get Alan Kulwicki's car off the racetrack. Before we go back to racing, we'll take this break.
ESPN Home Video presents Bill Elliott, Racing into History. The only video that shows you why this man became a racer and how he became a champion. Hosted by ESPN's Benny Parsons, you'll feel the excitement of driving with Bill as he wins NASCAR's biggest prize, the Winston Million.
Bill Elliott gets the checker flag. Bill Elliott has won an additional $1 million in 1985.
Get an insider's look at the Dawsonville shops where Bill's cars are made. Ride with him at over 150 miles an hour and listen in as he and Ernie plan their race strategies.
I'll be about 2 rails away to the left rear.
Order your copy for only $19.95. Call 1-800-533-1800. That's 1-800-533-1800. Bill Elliott is one of America's premier NASCAR drivers and most popular heroes, and Racing into History lets you enjoy the excitement of driving with Bill again and again. Call today, 1-800-533-1800.
The NFL Draft.
Draft day. Ha! Longest day of my life. It isn't official yet, but I think we're going to take you next. And I'm just sitting on the phone like...
Find out who gets the call and which picks will fall. The controversy.
It's obvious to me right now that the Jets just don't understand what the draft's all about.
And the anticipation.
Indianapolis selects
of the NFL Draft. Sunday, April 21st, live on ESPN.
Still under caution. Alan Kulwicki made contact with the wall in the backstretch, causing our 3rd caution of the day. And as you can see, a lot of people are taking this opportunity to get a little bit of potato chips or a little bit of refreshment for them as the race is under caution. Now, over the winter, it was decided that nothing could be done to make Benny's bald head look a little better. And so, unfortunately, there is no Hat of the Week this year. However, our emphasis has been shifted to helping, or is it hurting, Benny's waistline? So earlier in the weekend, Buffet Benny made his first appearance.
For the past couple of years, we've been doing a segment called Hat of the Week, the hat that fit the region. So we decided we'd try something new this year. What could we do? Well, the first thing we figure out when we get to a racetrack is, where can we eat? Well, there's no one to ask better than me, because, folks, I know something about eating. And here is a great place in Darlington. It's Helen's Two-Spot Cafe. Let's go have lunch, shall we? Wow, look at all this food. Oh, country yams. I got to have a little bit of yams. Atta boy. A little bit more. Look at this, folks. Turkey, cornbread dressing, little giblet gravy on the top of it, butter beans, also turnip greens, and down south they put a little bit of vinegar on the turnip greens, homemade biscuits, and top it all off with some iced tea. Now, you waiters up north, when a southerner says tea, he's talking about iced tea, not hot tea. And most of the time, it already has the sugar in it. Let's see. It's good sweetened tea. Let's eat, shall we?
Now that's all you need is to find some place to eat every time we go to a racetrack.
That guy must have been there.
And the amazing thing is, friends, you can go in there in Helen's 2 spot and you can get probably the best home cooking you'll find in this area of the country. They've raised their price this year all the way up to, what is it, $4 or something like that?
$4.
$3.50 last year, and they learned Benny was coming.
Yeah, they upped their price. Let's go to Jerry Punch with a quick comment on race strategy as we're about to go back to green.
Michael Waltrip's crew feels it may happen this way. If they can hang with Ricky Rudd, even though they're on used tires and worn tires, they may pit when Rudd pits some 20 laps from now, which will give them a chance to possibly come in at the same time and race him down to the checkered flag. Or if their tires stay pretty well, they may be able to stay on the track another 10 or 12 laps after Rudd pits and have fresher tires for that run to the green flag, which may give them the advantage. We'll see what's going to happen as they get ready for the green flag.
Don't go away. A lot of strategy yet to be played in the closing laps of the TranSouth 500. The green is back out, and Davey Allison leads them down with Ricky Rudd and Michael Waltrip also on the lead lap.
Now that is at the tail end of the lead lap. Ricky Rudd is leading the race. Now this is the first time in a long, long time the cars have been bunched up. Davey Allison has on much fresher tires. He has driven away. Probably a better chance for a caution right now with the cars all being bunched up right now. That's what Davey Allison would like to see.
There's Jeff Bodine going to the inside of Ricky Rudd. He gets a lap back.
Sterling Marlin on the inside of Michael Waltrip trying to get by him so he can go up to Rudd and get one of his laps back.
As you can see, the interval begins to open up now between Ricky Rudd, the leader, and second place Michael Waltrip.
There's Morgan Shepherd, Ernie Irvin, all those cars going by Michael Waltrip.
It would appear as if Michael cannot run with Ricky Rudd as he had hoped to.
Well, I think right now he's just been caught up in the traffic. We really can't tell until we run a few laps. But meanwhile, all these cars that has better tires than he has passed him at will. I bet he's screaming out of the building, "Give me tires, give me tires."
But he can't afford to stop yet.
No, that's for
because
sure.
He can't go the rest of the way. He's got to run another 15, 18 laps. He really needs to run about 18 laps to get to the 300 mark. Then he could be assured of going the rest of the way.
Now Rudd boxed in with the Junior Johnson teammate, Jeff Bodine and Sterling Marlin. Morgan Shepherd coming up on the inside. Ford has not won a race in 1991. Chevy has won 3, and Pontiac has won 1. And speaking of Pontiac, the Pontiac Grand Prix SE will soon be arriving at the home of Gerald Hausnick of Evansville, Indiana. Becomes the first Indiana winner of the Right Yard Halfway Challenge. He knew that Michael Waltrip was leading at the halfway point, and he wins a new Pontiac Grand Prix SE. Don't wait for next week when the phone lines get busy during the race. You can dial that number right now or soon, sometime during the week, and register for next week's Right Yard Halfway Challenge.
Boy, this thing's getting tight right now. Jeff Bodine is not as fast as he needs to be to stay in front. Now here comes Sterling Marlin. He gets by the 5-car of Ricky Rudd.
Here comes Ernie Irvin, and Morgan Shepherd is coming up too. Look at Morgan.
Wow, he's on the inside of Rudd coming off the corner.
And now Michael Waltrip is right up on and passing Ricky Rudd. Boy, where did he come from? He was several car lengths behind him. We said he couldn't run with him, and now he's passed him.
I think Benny hit it nail on the head.
Yep,
He got caught up in traffic, didn't want to take any chances, and then once he saw a little bit of an opening, he said, time to go.
And that's what happened to Rudd. He got caught up in the traffic with Sterling and Jeff Bodine. He got caught out on the inside and just couldn't run through that corner as hard as he wanted to.
Meanwhile, Davey Allison has absolutely driven away from him by 3.5 seconds or so.
Wow, watch Morgan Shepherd on the inside.
Oh, wow. He catches the apron of the first corner. And right in front of the 4-car, Ernie Irvin almost crashed in front of Irvin. And if we look right behind Ernie, if we go on back, we'll see the 30-car. He's back there somewhere.
Another close call for Michael Waltrip, and this time also for Ernie Irvin. Waltrip leads. Rudd is second. The other car on the lead lap is Davey Allison.
And then Rudd's got to stop pretty soon. He stopped at 2:17 69 laps ago. So, boy, look at Michael come off on the outside. Rudd is coming off fourth.
The other This would be his 70th lap.
Tom Cruise passed off before, didn't he?
That's only in the movies.
Yeah, oh, okay. Don't work in real life.
That's right. They sold, I guess, a lot of paraphernalia and racing stuff at auction at Charlotte Motor Speedway last Friday. You saw it on Speed Week last night regarding the Days of Thunder movie that a year ago at this time was being greatly anticipated by all race fans. Here comes the 42 and the 28, and these guys have pulled away from those that are leading the race, especially Davey Allison.
Boy, Davey got to run off of turn 2 that time. He's been trying to pass Kyle Petty for about 4 or 5 laps, but he got the run off of turn 2 and made the pass going into turn 3. Kyle is not for position.
No, Kyle is a lap down in 5th position at the moment. Mark Martin is 4th, and then Davey Allison in 3rd on the lead lap. Here come the leaders.
Yeah, those guys are at least a full straightaway ahead of the 30 car, the leader. And the red and white car behind Michael Waltrip is Rick Wilson of Snickers Buick, trying to get a lap back. He must be a couple laps down at this point. He looked on the inside of Michael, decided he couldn't make it.
He's trying to play the 3 laps down, Danny, so he would be, if he can get around, he would only be 2 laps down.
Yeah, he's in 14th position.
Now remember, fans, a lot of these cars have raced cars not long before the caution came out. So some of those cars that we were showing 1 lap down not too long ago have gone 2 laps down as a result of pit stops. But that is allowing them to come up and run faster than the leaders, such as Davey Allison and Kyle Petty. Rusty Wallace is one car that has checked out in front of those, and he'd made a pit stop not too long before that caution came out. So that's, again, evidence of what the pressure tires will do.
I tried a couple of times to complement this new computer-assisted scoring system that NASCAR has in place, and I keep getting interrupted, and I almost was there because Michael Waltrip got a little sideways, but this computer-assisted scoring program that NASCAR has instituted for the very first time this race is working flawlessly. It has just been a great help to us scoring, and they have been rather hesitant to come out with a computer-assisted scoring program, wanting to make it work right and be at a completely of service to us, and it is working to perfection.
You know, Ned, if that 30 car can keep running as well as it is now and stay in front of the 5, I think he'll just keep running for a while and try to get back.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's right. Get back in position so that when the 5 car does stop, that he'll be in somewhere equal sequence with him.
Yeah, I would say the 5 car is going to have to stop. That's Ricky Rudd in the next perhaps 7 or 8 laps.
I think he's been 75 laps right now. If I'm not mistaken, our graphic said he stopped at 2:17. That was 75 laps ago, so.
Which, of course, a number of those laps are run under caution, which allows him to run a few more laps. But yes, he should be coming in pretty soon.
We see Gary Cope running on the apron of the racetrack. He's had many, many problems with that Purelator Chevy today.
I think Rudd needs to run maybe 1 more lap, and then he could go the rest of the way according to the gas mileage that he has been getting, excepting that one time when he came in on 69 laps.
Boy, they're getting up close to that wall.
Boy, they are.
You suppose Rudd let Michael go so he wouldn't know what he was going to do when he... Oh, he's run out of fuel.
He probably has. Down on the inside. He's going to come in this time.
I saw it duck down like that. I thought he'd run out of fuel.
Michael Waltrip will stay on the racetrack while Ricky Rudd drops to the apron of the racetrack and comes in. Jerry Punch will call this stop by Ricky Rudd.
Well, they have squeezed every drop of fuel they could get out of this car. They're getting ready to service the Tide Chevrolet for the final time today. Waddell Wilson and the crew now scampering to work on the car. They will change all 4 tires, what should be the final pit stop of the day, under the green flag. Fill it up with fuel. Carlin and Rick Hendrick here helping orchestrate. Michael Waltrip down in turn 3 will keep an eye on the lead car. That's the man Rudd's going to have to beat. Headed to turn 4. Here comes the bright yellow and orange emerald car number 30 of Michael Waltrip down the straightaway. Rudd now burning rubber down pit road, but Michael Waltrip will have the advantage until they head to turn 1.
That's an excellent pit stop. 21 and 8/10 seconds.
It was a great pit stop under the pressure they were under, knowing that they had to have a good pit stop.
But talk about pressure. The Michael Waltrip team is now under the pressure to have a good last pit stop.
Well, why don't we put a clock on Michael Waltrip, see how fast he is running on the older tires, and then we'll put a clock on Rudd, see how fast he is running on the newer tires, and I'm sure they're going to be talking down in the pits, and that'll tell them then just what they need to do.
So Ricky Rudd has made his last pit stop, and Michael Waltrip continues to lead here in Darlington.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
The same battery that has started 9 out of 10 NASCAR winners since 1977 also starts millions of cars all over America every day. Die Hard. More power when you need it most.
Nothing beats a bud with a friend. Nothing beats what we've got here. Nothing beats clean, crisp, cold. Nothing beats the king of beers. Yeah, nothing beats a bud. Yeah, nothing beats a bud. Nothing beats a Budweiser. Nothing beats a bud.
The same battery that has started 9 out of 10 NASCAR winners since 1977 also starts millions of cars all over America every day. Die Hard. More power when you need it most.
We welcome you back to Darlington International Raceway. Just 69 laps to go, and now the race strategy plays out. Our leader, Michael Waltrip, makes his final stop. Remember, he came in for fuel only in that final caution flag just a little bit ago. The last caution flag, and now the Pennzoil crew will have to hustle. We'll keep an eye on the other cars out there on the racetrack as Davey Allison and some of them. They got a problem with the air gun, the right front. The air gun is broken. They cannot get the right front tire. Rudd is in turn 3. Coming down the straightaway. So Rudd unlaps himself as the Tide crew celebrates. They are watching now as the Pennzoil crew had an unbelievable misfortune. The air wrench in the right front is clogged. And now Ricky Rudd has already unlapped himself, and Michael Waltrip is going to have to.
Ned, I could hear the frustration in the accelerator with Michael Waltrip. You heard that engine go, wow, wow, wow. That's telling the guy, please don't do this to me.
That's too bad.
The only thing that's going to help him now is a caution flag, is to get back up there where he can race with pressure. Now, he needed to come in right then, fellas. He didn't need to stay out there another lap because, as we said, just before we went to commercial, we put the clocks on him, and he was running about 33 8/10 seconds a lap on those old tires. And Ricky Rudd was running about 32.75, a full second faster, so he couldn't afford to let Rudd stay out there on those new tires and pick up a second a lap on him, so he had to come in then. Unfortunately, they had the problem with the air wrench.
There you can see that still the average speed of the race is above the record average for this event by over 2 miles an hour. The leader of the race is Davey Allison. Ricky Rudd is second. We'll be back.
Hey, I like to save money as much as the next guy. But what are the odds that there's going to be a sale on the parts you need when your car breaks down? Hey, it's not going to happen. That's why I go to AutoZone. I mean, sure, you could wait around for a couple weeks and maybe beat their price by a few pennies someplace else. But I don't want to wait for a sale when I need a part. Now, what more could you ask for?
Basically, trucks are used for 2 reasons, hauling and towing. And for that, you need power. And the Sierra from GMC Truck has the most standard horsepower in its class, which gives you the hauling and towing strength you need. Plus, for 6 straight years, the full-size pickup from GMC Truck has retained more of its original value than any other in America. Sierra, powerful and durable. GMC Truck, it's not just a truck anymore, it's quality on the road.
Hueytown, Alabama's Davey Allison is the leader of the TranSouth 500 with Ricky Rudd and Michael Waltrip having made pit stops recently. Davey picks up the lead of the event. Davey has won the pole for 2 races this year. He hasn't won an event yet. His best finish 12th at Richmond. Finished 12th at the Richmond 400. Jeff Bodine nearly caught the wall over.
Oh, no. He hit the wall.
Didn't he?
He hit the wall. Yes, he is. Here's Sterling Marlin on the inside of him. This is,
yeah. Yep.
He got in the wall. It doesn't look like he did a lot of damage, but still, they can't help things when you brush off that wall up there.
He's coming into the pits right now, what should be his last pit stop, but you can see the damage on the right side of the Budweiser Ford.
You can hardly read the number. It's been scrubbed off by contact with the retaining wall. Right side tires going on the Budweiser Ford. The pole sitter for this race. He will not win the $15,200 available Unical bonus money. So that increases by $7,600 for next weekend's event at Bristol, Tennessee.
4-tire stop. Left side's going on. And I hope that tire over there is not hooked to the car.
It isn't. Jeff Bodine rolls out of the pit area onto the racetrack. Here comes the leader, Davey Allison, his 6th TranSouth 500 start. His best finish was 2nd in 1989. What's Davey's strategy? Let's go to John Curtin.
Standing here with Larry McReynolds. First race as the crew chief here on this team, and you're in a position where you could come in and possibly take on fuel only. But do you do that and try and win the race that way? What's the strategy, Larry?
Well, right now, that's what Robert and I was talking about. The bottom line is if we take fuel only, we're going to have 100 laps on our tires. And 100 laps on your tires here at Darlington ain't going to do a whole lot for you. We're going to weigh it out and see if we get a caution between now and about 25 laps from now. If not, I think we're going to have to take the tires on and hope for another caution.
Well, there you have it, what they're planning to do. Now let's go down to Michael Waldrop's pit and Dr. Jerry Punch, who's being a bit of a doctor right now. Jerry? Well, let's give you a report on Harold Holly, who is the injured crew member here in the Pennzoil pits. Michael Waldrop's last pit stop. Now, what Harold does, he's a tire carrier, and apparently his knee buckled a little bit. Let me just ask you, he's sitting here, seems to be okay. Harold, you've had ligament injury in the knee before, right? What happened?
The first time I was changing tires for Alan Kowicki, and I tore the cruciate ligament in the right side of my knee. This time I was coming back around the car, and I stepped on it. When I turned, it just pumped out of place.
So a pretty painful injury. They're going to get this thing packed in ice and get him to the hospital, get some x-rays, but it sounds like possibly a repeat of a ligament injury or separation, but fortunately, it could have been a lot worse. Back upstairs.
Tough business this is, being a member of a pit crew in Winston Cup competition. They do excellent work. They work hard. They try to get their driver in and out as quickly as possible, and they are susceptible to injury.
You know, and we're seeing what they do for 4 hours on Sunday. Their morning started at about 6 o'clock this morning. They were at the racetrack at 7. When this race is over, they'll pack up and go back home. And they probably won't be home until 1, 2 o'clock Monday morning. And they'll be back at work at 10 o'clock Monday morning, getting ready for Bristol next weekend.
Davey Allison looking for his 9th Winston Cup victory.
Now, right now, Bob, he has about a 11 3/4 second lead over Ricky Rudd, but we know that Davey Allison has to make another pit stop. So then it becomes important, after Michael Waltrip had the unfortunate situation in the pits, he is running a little over a half a lap behind Ricky Rudd. So, you know, before they made their pit stops, they were running right together, but that extra time in the pits has cost him a little over a half a lap, and he's running about a 1/10 of a second a lap faster than Ricky Rudd, but that's not nearly enough to make up that distance.
We have 57 laps to go. 310 circuits are completed out of 367. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Ace is like a neighbor who can do everything.
Well, almost everything.
All you gotta do
is ask Ace.
Yeah.
Ames Comfort Plus shovels and bow rakes with padded handles are $7.99 each. 32-ounce Armor All Protectant, just $5.88.
Hey, Ace is the place for me.
Right, neighbor.
Brett Bodine, one tough driver, talks about Quaker State, one tough motor oil.
At North Wilkesboro, that Carolina asphalt was hot enough to fry our King Racing Buick. Our engine was running hot, 240 degrees, and I had to keep pushing it over 8,000 RPM. Now that's when you start worrying about your oil's viscosity breaking down. But when the going got tough, the same Quaker State you can buy right off the shelf was tough enough to get me to the finish line first.
Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
You know, recycling has given trash a whole new meaning.
That's the idea, John.
The Rubbermaid 32-gallon wheel trash can, only $9.97, and a 4 cubic foot wheelbarrow is just $19.99.
Does that make garbage garbage?
Beats me.
This was Michael Waltrip's most recent pit stop. Now, we talked to the crew member who popped his knee out of place, and watch for him. Now, he is the one that is carrying the tires. You see him coming in from the right of your screen. He drops off the right rear and then goes to retrieve the right rear, which is going off, and I saw it happen. It popped out, and by the time he got over there to the wall, he was in a lot of pain and just sat down on the wall, and you can see he never comes back, as by this point the injury has occurred. But it's not serious, and so the racing resumes on the track with Davey Allison still up front.
Davis crew still trying to figure out exactly what we're going to have to do to try to win this thing. And again, I guess then as long as they can stay out there and then stop and change tires and end up in the lead lap, if the caution should come out, then they would have a chance to win the race.
Really would have. That's the thing that would help them to win, because they would have fresher tires than the 5 or the 30 car.
Now we're inside Mark Martin's car. And by the way, Mark has had a fairly decent race. They've struggled this year, but maybe he's beginning to turn his season around as we ride with him in the Channel Lock race cam. Now, what effect is the sun having on the drivers at this point?
Well, it's not real bright right now, but it's going to have an effect. This is coming off turn 4. You can see how clear it is. Now watch as he starts down the front straightaway into turn 1, where he's driving into the sun. And the farther he goes down the racetrack, and then we go into a shadow where the billboards are. All of a sudden, boom, the racetrack really goes away to the drivers. Although there is some overcast out there, and it's not as bad as it could be.
Not as bad as it normally is this late in the race here at Darlington.
Let's go to Jerry Punch, who's found an interested spectator in the Mark Martin pit.
You know, race drivers rarely have a day off. It's like football coaches, but I got a guy here who took a day off today to come to the races. That's Ken Hatfield, one of the top football coaches in America, and now the head coach of the Clemson University Tigers. And Coach Hatfield, welcome to NASCAR racing. I know you've been here quite a few times, but you enjoyed yourself today?
I've had a great time. It's been a great race. I got here about 3.5 hours before the start of the race, and have visited around, seen everything, and I've just had a great time.
Now, you're standing in the Mark Martin pit. Mark's from Batesville, Arkansas. You used to coach out there, so you must have somewhat of a favorite today.
Well, we know how to speak the same language anyway here. But Mark's doing a good job. The crew has run a good race. Mark's been driving, and he's certainly got a chance to finish, I think, in the top 3 or 4 of the race today.
How about those Tigers for 1991? You just finished spring ball yesterday. Came off a 10-2 year, really dominant in the postseason bowl games. What kind of year are you going to have?
We're gonna have a good football team. We had to replace a great kicker who left to go to the pros early, but we're going to have a good football team this year. The ACC was a great league last year, and I think it'll even be better this year.
Well, he's not only here, his chancellor, Max Lennon, is here, and also the South Carolina football coach, Sparky Woods, here. So a lot of football coaches enjoying another sport here on a Sunday afternoon. Bob?
All right, thank you. Yeah, we were going to mention that Sparky Woods was here just to keep things even.
And in South Carolina, you had better mention when both of them are here.
Now here is another Big A Auto Parts on-track interval. Laps 3:05 to 3:09. We timed Ricky Rudd and Michael Waltrip to see how the interval was between the two. As you can see on lap 3:05, the interval was 16.6 seconds as Michael Waltrip was faster. And now the interval is down to only 16 seconds. So he's cut almost he has cut 0.6 of a second off the interval in 5 laps. And it's because he is going faster, not Rudd is going slower.
We mentioned a little bit earlier on my unofficial stopwatch that he was gaining about 1/10 of a second a lap, and that's what that graphic shows, but that's not nearly enough. As long as we run under green flag racing, he can't make up the deficit that he has.
Michael Waltrip almost hit the wall that time up in turn 3 and 4 as we watch Davey Allison, who is the leader of the race,
with 47.
Something wrong with Mikey.
Uh-oh.
Michael Waltrip is off the pace.
The car drops to the inside apron of the racetrack, and Michael Waltrip may be having some terminal problems here. Boy, this will be a shame because he has been unbelievable today here at Darlington. But the car is not up to speed. Let's maybe see if we can get an indication of what went wrong.
he may have a flat tire. It might be just a simple flat tire because he went up almost off the wall and just backed off. Jerry Punch is
coming
there.
into the pits right now.
Yep.
Michael Waltrip coming down pit road. Jerry Punch, what'd you learn?
Well, that's what they're saying might be a problem. They think he may have a tire going down. That's why the car got awfully high and brushed the wall just a lap or so ago over there. So Michael will come in and get some fresh rubber. Boy, after dominating all afternoon, the kind of tough luck they have faced these last 30 laps of the air race breaking, you can hear the frustration as Michael jumps back in the throttle and peels down pit road.
When this race goes into the records book, somebody's name other than Michael Waltrip will probably be shown as number 1. But boy, we'll remember this as the day that Michael Waltrip almost won a race and was pretty much dominant for most of the event. Michael Waltrip makes an unscheduled pit stop and drops further in the serial scoring. Back with more from Darlington after this.
If you can't wait, you need the News Weekly of Motoring Auto Week. If you can't wait for driving impressions, get Auto Week. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. If you can't wait for car news, get Auto Week. Auto Week covers it all. The great old cars, the auto shows. Auto Week's columnists are controversial and fast. And if you can't wait for racing news, get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week races to bring you the winningest coverage first. If you can't wait, get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Undefeated knockout artist Eddie Cook faces hard-hitting Diego Avila for the U.S. Bantamweight title. It's another championship Sunday on Top Rank Boxing, live at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Although he still needs one more pit stop before the end of the race, Davey Allison continues to lead the TranSouth 500. Dale Earnhardt is off the pace.
Yeah, that car sounds like it's running on no more than 7 cylinders, perhaps even down to 6. It went how slow it's going. I don't think that he's running on more than 6 cylinders right now.
Now, Dale Earnhardt came into this event, of course, as the points leader in Winston Cup competition. Ricky Rudd came in second, just 24 points behind. Now, if Rudd can win this race, as he could very well do, he may be the new Winston Cup points leader.
Well, there's no doubt. If he wins the race, he will be the Winston Cup point leader because Earnhardt, the best he can finish right now, would be 15th or 20th.
And here comes Earnhardt around turn number 4, still running very low on the racetrack. Let's go to Jerry Punch, who's with Richard Childress.
Not the kind of day you would hope to have here, RC. Now the car is slowing. What's the problem?
I think we lost the cylinder. It puffed out the pipe, so I'm pretty sure we just dropped the valve or something.
Some days you get the bear, some day the bear gets you, huh?
It's one of them days. We'll have to come back strong next week.
He still manages to smile, even though it's been a tough afternoon for the Goodrich crew. Bob?
There, the graphic shows you that he has finished in the top 10 in every race so far this year, and the only other driver to do that would be Ricky Rudd. And right now, Earnhardt is shown in 12th position, and he is 3 laps down. There's Davey still leading. Boy, he's had some great races here in the TranSouth 500. In 1988, he was 3rd. 1989, he was 2nd. In 1990, he was 3rd. Right now is the leader of the race.
He's got a pit stop coming up very shortly here, fellas. He can't go over 2 or 3 more laps. In fact, the pit crew's getting ready right now. I don't know if they heard me say that or they probably had it planned already anyway.
Checking the interval between 1st and 2nd. Here comes Ricky Rudd, and he stops the clock at 9.5 seconds. Now, the pit stop that Davey is about to get, how long is that going to take him?
Well, he'll be in the pits from their Black Flag and Dale Earnhardt.
Yep.
He'll be in the pits for somewhere from 21 to 25 seconds. But the slowdown, he's slowing down right now, coming off of the racetrack on the pit road, so it's going to cost him well over a lap.
Well, let's go to John Kernan. Here he comes toward you, John.
Well, I asked Larry McReynolds if they were going to chance it and just go for the fuel because they had that 9.5-second lead. But no, they are going to have to go all 4 tires as Ricky Rudd flashes by and down into turn 1. This will be a 4-tire change. They are working on the right side now. And there seems to be a bit of a problem in the right front. But now they finally let the jack down. Now they'll swing back around to the left side. They really need a good pit stop here. Stay on the lead lap and then hope for a caution. Runs to turn 3. Now Davey is away, but he stalls the engine, refires it, and gets going again. That's the second time today leaving the engine that he has somewhat stalled it. But he is now away, and now Ricky is crossing the start-and-finish line.
He's going to stay in the lead lap. He has to stay down on the flat. You can see him down there, and here comes Rudd up on the outside, and Rudd will lap him as they come off of turn 2. But Davey has on the fresh tires. It shouldn't take him but a lap or 2 to move back around him and get back in the lead lap.
There he is, going past him on the backstretch. But now Davey, with those fresh tires, could come right back and repass him.
Ain't going to take him a lap or 2, is he? He's going to do it before he gets to the start-finish line.
So Allison is back on the lead lap now in second position, although he's almost a lap down. And Ricky Rudd appears to be on his way to victory here in the TranSouth 500 with 331 laps down. Stay with us.
When you respond to people's everyday needs, show concern for their safety, and have an understanding of what an honest value really means, a very nice thing happens. They put you in their driveway. Last year, 1,364,096 people did just that. They made Chevrolet Geo the best-selling cars in America. Thanks. Or should we say, thanks a million.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevrolet.
When trouble with your car has you feeling a little wobbly, hurry into your neighborhood Parts Plus Auto Parts store because you can count on the pros at Parts Plus for the right parts the first time and the right prizes. During our Repair America sweepstakes, be one of 2 families to win either a 1991 Ford Explorer or Aerostar. Hundreds of other prizes to win, too. Car owners of all ages count on the pros at Parts Plus.
We're America's family of auto parts stores.
We are back at Darlington, South Carolina in the closing laps of the TranSouth 500. Next Sunday afternoon, we will be in Bristol, Tennessee for the Valleydale Meets 500. Our live coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And, of course, on Saturday, the day before, we'll have coverage of the Busch Grand National Race from Bristol. Yesterday's Grand National Race won by Dale Jarrett. Now, there's Davey Allison. He is in second position right now. And talk about people that are hoping for a caution flag.
If the caution flag comes out, Davey Allison will probably win this race, Ned.
Yeah, he has the fresh tires on his car. We saw him just blow around Ricky Rudd there a little bit ago and has put about 3 or 4 seconds between them since then. So, yes, he would be in very good position to win the race.
But I think what he needs to do right now is slow down.
Yep.
Is slow down, save those tires. All he needs to do is stay in front of Ricky Rudd. If he gains a half a lap on him, he's not accomplished anything.
No, because there's not enough time left for him to go around and catch Ricky Rudd.
And we're timing this lap by Davey Allison.
Kyle Petty in for what should be his last pit stop. Yep, and they're only putting gas in Kyle Petty's car. He was in the third position, 1 lap down.
Meanwhile, Davey Allison is about to complete his lap off of corner number 4 onto the 1,228-foot front stretch, stopping the clock at a lap of 32.4 seconds.
One of the fastest laps we've seen.
Exactly what I was thinking, Ned.
That's 151.7 for Davey. Now we'll time Ricky Rudd. We are timing him at the moment as the clock has already started. See how his lap compares to Davey's.
Pit stop that moved Michael Waltrip into 3rd place and Mark Martin into 4th. They're each 1 lap down.
Mark Martin having a good run, and he is apparently turning his season around. Got off to a very bad start in 1991. Here comes Ricky stopping the clock at 33.1. So he is about 3 miles an hour, over 3 miles an hour slower.
7/10 of a second.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit, but it's not enough that Davey Allison can run him down under green flag racing.
No, because we're running, there's only, 27, 29 laps to go, and this race is over, and Davey Allison is not going to be able to make up that much ground. So, as I said, the best thing he can do is just slow down, save his tires, and if they do get a caution flag, have something to race Rudd with.
Boy, talk about teams that have turned their seasons around this year. Rick Hendrick is off to a great start. 8 starts, 7 top 10s, 4 top 5s, and 1 win, of course, with Ken Schrader at Atlanta. In 1990 at this time, he had 6 top 10s, 4 top 5s, and did not pick up a win until Rudd won at Watkins Glen. And that is the last time that Ricky Rudd was in victory lane in a Winston Cup race at Watkins Glen last year. The last time he won on an oval track was at Dover in 1987.
That's when he was still driving for Bud Moore. In fact, the day before he won that race, they made the announcement that he was leading that team going to the Kenny Bernstein team.
Yep. 27 laps to go, 340 complete. This has been a relatively fast race as the average is 134.9. We are above the race record for this particular race. However, we are a little bit under the track record for Darlington in all because Dale Earnhardt holds that track record in the 1989 Southern 500. Field snapshot again. Watch for your favorite driver. There's Rusty Wallace, Michael Waltrip. We're timing Ricky Rudd's lap. There's Joe Ruttman.
Terry Gant still out there.
Yep. Sterling Marlin.
Brett Bodine in the green car.
Being passed by Rick Wilson.
Almost.
Well, he thought he was going to be passed.
Davey Allison in second. Terry Labonte
out there.
Yeah. Kyle Petty.
Harold Walker, new carburetor still working.
Here comes Rudd. 33.8 that time. And even slower. And Dale Earnhardt is behind the wall, and this is the first DNF for Dale Earnhardt since Dover last June when he fell out with a broken camshaft. But Dale Earnhardt is walking away from the black number 3, calling it quits. Meanwhile, Rick Hendrick is watching his driver drive to victory.
Welcome to Mountain Man 101. Let's begin. This is a mountain man. Notice his love of great natural beauty, his instinctive resourcefulness, his healthy respect for a fine pair of cowboy boots. However, the easiest way to identify a mountain man is to look at his hands, which will no doubt be holding a smooth bush beer or an easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and learn to live life as a man among men.
The time has finally come for the cordless power roller from Wagner. Now you control the flow of paint. So the Wagner power roller can cut jobs in half. Smoothly and evenly, it can cover areas twice as fast. And cleanup is a snap. So you can finish one job and do another. Get your hands on a real value because the value of Wagner keeps on rolling.
If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN.
There he goes. He leaps. He makes the catch.
See Tuesday night doubleheaders, Wednesday night excitement, Friday night twin bills, and exclusive Sunday night action. The world champion Reds open it up against the Astros. Nolan Ryan and his golden arm power the Rangers against the Brewers. An opening day doubleheader, Monday beginning at 2 Eastern live on ESPN.
Just a few more laps to go in the TranSouth 500. Ricky Rudd on his way to victory. Davey Allison is second, followed by Michael Waltrip. Then Mark Martin fourth. Kyle Petty running in 5th position at this time. Our Speedworld coverage of the TranSouth 500 being brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. By Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. And by Pronto, featuring quality auto parts at lower prices. Here's the Tide Chevrolet being driven by Ricky Rudd. And let's go down to Jerry Punch, who's with the owner of this car.
Well, Rick, what a difference a year makes. Now, you guys only had 1 win last year if you don't count Cole Trickle's victories in that movie driving your cars. But, hey, this year, 2 seconds in a row, and now you're on the verge of 2 consecutive wins. What's the difference?
Well, you know, all the guys have worked awful hard this year, and the chemistry's been excellent. Maybe we didn't have all the other things involved with the movie to interfere with us, but, you know, we had some bad luck. We ran pretty good, but, you know, I just hope we can finish these last 19, 20 laps. I've been in this spot a lot of times, and, you know, we're having a good year, and it's a credit to the guys. They just have worked together, worked hard, and I'm proud of them. They've done an excellent job.
As a car owner, you must like these new rules. You can't change tires as much, therefore you're not paying $1,000 a cent quite as often, and it's dictated pretty well for your operation.
Well, when you're running two cars and you save that many tires, it makes a difference. But that's a tribute to Goodyear. They've done a great job with these tires, and we can run them forever. And, you know, you have to run your own race. And it's hard to do it in here sometimes when you start getting beat toward the end of a long run. But today we knew that this was our shot. This is what we had to do. And, again, Waddell, he was mechanic of the race, and that call made a difference. So we'll take it if it comes our way.
Certainly, Rick Hendrick has a lot of reasons to smile, gentlemen.
Ricky Rudd leading right now. And by the way, Waddell Wilson has been voted the mechanic of the race. So a lot of things are going his way. Sponsored by Western Auto, of course, that mechanic of the race award. So things are going quite well for Rudd and company.
You know, back in December when they announced the pit rules and people started talking about who it would favor, who it wouldn't favor, Rudd was always on the top of the list of the drivers it would favor because he was very smooth, took care of the tires as well as anyone in Winston Cup racing. So it looks like that today they were right.
Well, Chevrolet, if it wins here this afternoon, could win its 4th out of 5 races in 1991. The only other to make the win so far is Pontiac. There's the second-place Ford. Davey Allison Ford has not registered a victory so far in 1991 competition, but Davey Allison's second place and Mark Martin's 4th place. And we haven't talked too much this afternoon about Mark Martin, that he has had an excellent race, and this will be his best finish of 1991, if he can, or it will equal his, no, it will be his best, because his best finish so far has been a 6th at Richmond, and he's right now running 4th. Less than 20 laps to go.
Now with Rudd, I think he's running conservatively there right now, but Michael Waltrip is coming up behind him at a pretty quick pace. Now Michael is running 3rd, 1 lap down, which what he wants to do is to catch Ricky Rudd and then hope for a caution to come out. So Michael is certainly running at a little more aggressive pace than is Ricky Rudd. Kyle Petty right in front of Ricky Rudd. Kyle is being shown in 5th position, 1 lap down. If Rudd passes him, he will be 2 laps down.
Watching a field summary. Find out where your favorite driver is running here in the late stages of this event. There is Michael Waltrip.
Ricky Rudd got a tough break that time. He ran up behind Kyle going in the 3rd corner and had some trouble getting by him. As a matter of fact, he still isn't by him. And Michael Waltrip, who we're seeing on the screen now, the yellow 30, the Pennzoil Pontiac, is gaining. We can see he's just 50 or 75 yards. And by the time we get back and break, he will probably be on his rear bumper.
So we'll be back with more live coverage of the TranSouth 500 right after these messages from Darlington.
You're pushing 2 tons of steel at 200 plus with just a coat of paint between you and the leader. What's going through your mind?
Stock car fans can now go inside the sport like never before with NASCAR Video Magazine from Time Life Video. Each video helps you gain greater insights into everything from racing strategies to the latest hardware.
Starting with the Daytona experience, yours for just $9.99. It's a behind-the-scenes look at the Super Bowl of racing with Darrell Waltrip, Richard Petty, and Jeff Bodine. Plus how dyno technology is pushing engine performance and a lot more.
Here's how to get started.
Call to get the Daytona experience for $9.99 plus shipping and handling. Use your credit card and we'll send you a free gift. This NASCAR Daytona 500 board game. Other videos like Top 10 Drivers, Fathers, Sons, and Brothers, and Evolution of the Race Car will arrive about every other month at $16.99. There's no commitment. Cancel at any time. The NASCAR Video Magazine from Time Life Video.
20 times last year, the world's best top fuelers fired it up in the final. And all 20 times, the outcome was exactly the same.
feel good.
Every single NHRA winner was powered by the same spark plug.
So good. So good.
Autolite, we feel pretty good about that.
Wow. I feel good.
Hey, Mike, hand me my channel lock pliers.
Tommy, hand me that plier over there with the blue handles. What kind of pliers is that? These are channel lock tone groove pliers. My dad uses them on his race car, too.
For the tough jobs and the small jobs, reach for Channel Lock, the handiest plier of them all.
Hey, guys, anybody seen the channel lock pliers?
Channel Lock. Be sure you're getting genuine Channel Lock pliers. Look for this trademark.
Back at Darlington, and for what it's worth, Michael Waltrip is back on the lead lap. He was able to pass Ricky Rudd at the end of the front stretch a few minutes ago and get back on the lead lap.
But they're getting the 10-lap signal now, Bob, and Michael Waltrip desperately needs a caution if he would have any shot at Davey Allison and Ricky Rudd.
If Ricky Rudd goes on to win this race, it will be the 9th consecutive year that Rudd has won at least one event in Winston Cup competition.
Going down the back straightaway, just hoping and praying, no caution flag. And about 100 yards in front of him, Michael Waltrip is hoping and praying for a caution flag.
And then about a half a lap in front of him, Davey Allison praying.
Yeah.
So they got 2 against 1. I don't know which wins out in a case like that.
Kyle Petty gets the car a little bit sideways, coming off turn 4. There's Rusty Wallace, the black and gold automobile. Bobby Hillen and Dick Moroso's car. There comes Bobby Hamilton, the green automobile. Ernie Irvin going under the Alka-Seltzer Pontiac of Jimmy Means. Junior Johnson cars going side by side in turn 1. That's not who we're seeing on the screen, but they just did.
That is second place Davey Allison running with Dave Marcus. Here's Ricky Rudd. Now, get ready, fans. We're going to do our last field snapshot so you can get an idea of where your driver is here late in the event.
That's Ted Musgrave right behind Ricky Rudd, in case you don't recognize that white car.
Bobby Hillen, Bobby Hamilton, Morgan Shepherd, Ernie Irvin, Jimmy Means, Jeff Bodine, Sterling Marlin, Davey Allison, Dave Marcus, Rick Mast, Randy Baker, Jimmy Spencer, Mickey Gibbs. How am I doing?
You're doing real good. Bill Elliott went by, Kenny Schrader.
Terry Labate, Brett Bodine,
Earl Waltrip, Michael Waltrip. There's Rudd again. Now let's go to Jerry Punch. How about an incentive program? Felix Sabates has one for Kyle Petty. How about Rick, Jerry?
Well, I think Rick Hendrick finally confessed a minute ago when he walked away. He said, hey, you know, Kyle Petty liked that Rolls Royce he won at Rockingham. Well, this isn't exactly a Rolls Royce, but Linda Rudd, Ricky Rudd's wife, has always wanted to drive one of those new Acura NSX, those new low-profile, sporty-looking Acuras. They're hard to come by, but Rick told Ricky Rudd, say, hey, you win here at Darlington, and your lovely wife will have one to drive home come Monday.
Wow. That is something.
Wow is right.
And he's got 5 more laps to go before that NSX is his wife's, and the championship of the TranSouth 500 at Darlington is his.
Hi, Linda.
Now you know why she's got that smile on her face. She's watching closely her husband come off of turn number 4.
Now, not far behind them is a good race for 5th place. That's Kyle Petty, who is currently being shown in 5th, and right behind him is Rusty Wallace. Rusty would like to get on the scoreboard again. He is currently running 6th, Kyle running in 5th. They're going to have a battle right down to the end here this time.
4th place car is Mark Martin.
Now, Mark is about a half a lap ahead of those drivers, so he doesn't have to worry about them. But Kyle Petty does have to worry about Rusty Wallace.
Right now, Kyle is able to stay ahead of Rusty, although Rusty now closes in to just about 4 or 5 car lengths. Now make it 2 car lengths.
Past J.D. McDuffie. J.D. has a lot of riding on the side of that car, very small riding. Apparently he has some sponsorship from some people who maybe made some contributions to him. Tom Rumpel and people up at Rumpel Furniture has helped him over the years. Here's Rusty now trying to make that pass for 5th place.
He is going to do it.
If he goes up the hill, Kyle will try to come back on the inside.
Good battle here late in the race. Kyle on the inside and Rusty on the outside.
And Kyle makes the pass. Rusty said, son of a gun, I thought I had him passed.
There was just 2 laps to go. He's going to have to do it again. Let's see.
This is for 5th position.
There's no race for the lead, so this is the best race on the racetrack.
We're showing you the best competition even at this point in the race as Ricky Rudd is on his way to victory. He's going to make it this time.
Will he slide up? Let's see.
Got to get into the corner just right and keep the car from sliding, and he did.
Yeah, he kept her down that time. He learned, didn't he, Benny?
He moved down to block that pass that he knew was coming. White flag for Ricky Rudd.
Ricky Rudd from Chesapeake, Virginia is on the final lap. It'll be the first win for a driver from the state of Virginia at Darlington since Joe Weatherly won the Rebel 300 back in 1963.
Expect Kenny Martin to know that fact.
Ricky Rudd. This will be his 8th, make that 12th Winston Cup win.
He's only got about a couple hundred yards to go.
Here he is off of corner number 4. Ricky Rudd wins the TranSouth 500 at Darlington. Here comes Rusty Wallace. He's going to take 5th spot. It looked like Kyle Petty may have bumped the wall coming out of turn number 4 in his desperate attempt to get 5th from Rusty, but he didn't do it. And the Tide crew celebrates the win here at Darlington. Their first since Watkins Glen last year. At least the first win for Ricky Rudd. Now let's go to John Curtis.
Very happy crew celebrating right here now and telling good job, well done, Waddell Wilson, the crew chief. You all guessed out the right strategy today, didn't you?
Well, you know, I wondered a couple of times if we'd come up with the right strategy. You know, Ricky and I talked a lot about it, you know, even before we came down here after Atlanta. And, you know, it's kind of hard to figure out what to do because of the speed that cars run on older tires. And I'll have to say Goodyear done a heck of a job with their tires today, you know. And, you know, I'd like to thank the crew. All the boys done a heck of a job. The guys at the shop, you know, I wish they could all be here and enjoy this because it takes a lot of pressure off all of us.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of excitement and celebration tomorrow as Ricky is pulling down pit road, slapping the hands. And now let's go up to Bob Jenkins.
All right, thank you very much, John. We'll be back with an interview with Ricky Rudd, the winner of the TranSouth 500, right after this break.
In my considered opinion, it's okay to enjoy mowing one's lawn. Oh, for heaven's sake. In fact, my snapper significantly enhances my sense of well-being. Of course, my snapper dealer was kind enough to offer a 14-day money-back test drive. The good man really stands behind his machines. So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional help. That's right. See your snapper dealer.
Anything less just won't cut it.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sports Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Top Rank Boxing moves to Thursday. IBC World Welterweight Champion Kevin Pompey puts his title on the line against Santos Cardona. Top Rank Boxing, Thursday night, live on ESPN.
Back at Darlington Raceway, the 35th annual TranSouth 500 is history, and listen to him cheer as Ricky Rudd steps out to the celebration in Victory Lane, and wife Linda here to give him a big kiss. And let me get Linda, get in here. You worked hard all day too, and it's a big sip of Gatorade. Ricky, congratulations on a tremendous effort today.
Thank you, Jerry. You know, these guys did a heck of a job on this Tide Exxon EDS Chevrolet Rick Hendricks. You know, the pit strategy, I think that's what won it for us today. The car handled good, and we just kind of kept fine-tuning it a little bit as the day went on. And, you know, at the end, we just sort of had a race to stopwatch, and we knew what we were up against. But the guys really did this one today.
You had to be concerned about how strong Michael Waltrip was. It almost played it in his hands on that caution flag with about 100 laps to go.
Well, like I said, I'm not really sure. I was a little confused. Waddell kept me going all day, and I could see the scoreboard and see there wasn't but 2 of us in the lead lap. And really what I think won it for us is that pit strategy. Waddell and all of the Rick Hendricks guys, they sat there and put their heads together. And, decided it was time to pit early. Even though we didn't need the fuel, they pitted early. We got our tires. We were all jumbled up, wasn't going anywhere, so we came back out on the racetrack and was able to make a lot of time up with those new tires, and that was the difference between us and probably, say, Davey at the end.
There were a lot of close calls today, but in the 12 years I've been coming to Darlington, I have never seen a car finish 500 miles here and not have a scratch on it. This car looks like it just started a race.
I tell you, a lot of that's just luck. It wasn't good driving or anything to it. It was just a lot of things happened around me, and the holes would be closed up and they'd open up. But all in all, I think it was a pretty safe day at Darlington. Jeff put out and bumped the wall right in front of me one time.
Well, are they happy or what? Let me just tell Ricky, you have taken the point lead. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Jerry.
Ricky Rudd, the new point leader here in Winston Cup competition, winning the 35th annual TranSouth 500. We'll be more to wrap it up with Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, and Benny Parsons after this.
Warning, cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact, independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
When you have an important job to do, now there's a weapon that's faster, more powerful than any drill bit known to man. Vermont American's Sidewinder. Its maximum side brake speed tip cuts 3 times faster than a standard bit. Lasts 3 times longer. Sidewinder from Vermont American. The serious bit for speed.
All the deep down quality that makes a Buick so enjoyable on a Saturday afternoon is forged in the heat of weekends we spend throughout the year. So while you're considering the ownership of a bright new Buick, rest assured that Buick engineers are out at the nation's racetracks, racing to make your new Buick even better. Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
Pronto Auto Parts. From coast to coast, your local Pronto Auto Parts store features friendly service and quality auto parts at lower prices. Federal Mogul, a recognized leader in automotive technology, manufactures a wide range of auto parts for virtually every vehicle on the road, foreign and domestic. Your car depends on Federal Mogul quality. Don't be fooled by anything less.
When you need to know about auto parts, ask the pro at Pronto.
Back at the TranSouth 500 in Darlington, South Carolina, where the race has been won by Ricky Rudd in the Tide Chevrolet. And a great race for Ricky, who was able to take advantage of a malfunctioning air wrench on Michael Waltrip's car in the last pit stop, allowing him to drive to victory here this afternoon. New track record was established, the average 135.594, not only setting a new record for this event, but also a new event record here at Darlington, breaking Earnhardt's record in the Southern 500 in 1989. Now we're going to give you the results from the entire field. As you can see, Rudd, Allison, Waltrip, Mark Martin, and Rusty Wallace were the top 5. Then going on 6 through 10, you can see that our pole sitter and outside front row starter, Jeff Bodine and Sterling Marlin, were 9th and in 10th position. Bill Elliott, who has run so well at this track and won $1 million here in the past, finished in 12th position. And as we take a look at 16 through 20, gentlemen, been a great race and nice working with you guys and being back in Winston Cup racing for 1991.
It's great to be back. There's Kenny Schrader, 19th after he made a brush for the wall. Had to make several pit stops. Morgan Shepherd, 24th.
Now, wait a minute. We had Morgan Shepherd way up there in about 7th position there a minute
Well,
ago.
we'll check that. Harry Gant. By golly, Harry was looking forward to making another victory here this afternoon at Darlington, but unfortunately an early incident knocked him out. And look at Dale Earnhardt finishing way down in 29th position. Alan Kowicki also with a problem. Dale Jarrett got taken out real early in a crash. And, of course, Lake Speed in his first drive for Cale Yarborough finished last in 40th position. Don't forget a special baseball preview coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, a big doubleheader as baseball season opens with the Reds and the Astros at 2 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow afternoon. And tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, the American League game. Next Sunday, we'll be in Bristol, Tennessee for the Valley Dale Meets 500. Our live coverage begins at 1 o'clock. Ricky Rudd is in the points lead. Earnhardt is 80 behind. Ernie Irvin is third in points, followed by Ken Schrader, Sterling Marlin, and Mark Martin has moved to sixth in the Winston Cup points. Again, our congratulations to Ricky Rudd, the winner of the TranSouth 500. Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch. This is Bob Jenkins. So long, everyone.